The graphics has gone a bit awry. There we go. We got there in the end.
I'll do my striker pose because Auntie Shadow inspired me. Welcome to Your Aunties Could Never, the podcast for cool aunties and uncles everywhere, where you hear no nonsense, straight talkings, and lots of insight, foresight, knowledge, and wisdom. I'm Auntie AK, and I'm here with
Auntie Nana
and Auntie Sade.
And we hopefully we'll be joined by Auntie Farah. She's trying to get her stuff together, so hopefully she'll be back with us soon. So we'll keep an eye out for Auntie Farah. So my ladies, how are you, my aunties? How are you?
Yeah, good. Getting through the week. I know it's still early days, actually, at the time of recording, but yeah, good start so far, I think.
How are you, Auntie Nana?
I was traumatized today.
What?
I was cutting. I think this is trauma. I was cutting some belts, and I opened up a piece of leather, and I opened it up, flipped it up, and put it on the cutting table.
Oh no!
Two spiders jumped up. Anyone that works with leather knows, spiders like leather. It's even gross to think about it because it's like flesh. It's hard skin, but either way, spiders like leather. But I was so terrified. I don't know if they were dead or alive. I literally picked up all of my stuff and I've left my workshop and I came back home. So I'm scared to go in tomorrow because I don't know where they are, what they're going to do. If they were big or small, I just saw two black things, brownie things jump up and I was off. So I'm suffering from trauma today. I'm still a little bit shaky.
I wasn't expecting that story. And I don't.
I feel stressed out. I don't do spiders at all.
I would hate for something to. I always have that thing, have an irrational fear of spiders disappearing.
Yeah.
So it will make me. You have those flashes when it happens. We're not, by the way, Auntie Nana.
Yeah.
I think you and I are not in frame properly on the live on Insta. By the way, guys, we're on IG Live. If you prefer to watch there, we're on IG Live. We're also on YouTube and we're also on Facebook. We're everywhere. We're live everywhere. Auntie Nana, you've got
1 second. Let me just check.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
I think you've got to come in a bit closer to me.
It will take a second though. Remember the delay?
Oh yeah, I was like, that's very weird. Anyway, okay. I'm very sorry about your spiders. I, on the other hand, am not spider scared or traumatized. I'm very happy. My daughter started her first day. I won't say what hospital. I guess you can't. But her first day as a nurse, as a pediatric nurse. I'm so proud of her. Just so proud. My baby. She's a working woman. I'm going to get all her money. Very, very, very happy. Okay, guys, look, get your plates. With the aunties, as the party can start. Get your plates, get your drinks, and let's start the show. Who are we welcoming to the family, Auntie Nana?
Okay, give me a moment. So we are welcoming a beautiful young man called Kweju. I'm calling him by his the Ghanaian sounding name, not how it's been pronounced on the TV so far. He is Kweju Twinibwa. Is how I asked my mum, and she said it is. You don't also always say the T, but she said the T, and it was Kweju Twinibwa. Mm-hmm. And he is a social housing activist, and he's just been doing great work. So really sticking up for people. He's been lobbying and getting various different housing trusts and housing associations and councils to really fix up people's properties, and just highlighting how disgusting some places people are meant to live in and still pay rent. So I welcome him with open arms, a gorgeous nephew, Kweju Twinibwa.
Yes, well, I'm so proud of him. He's doing. I listen. bro, I could do with his help myself. Like, no, he's doing really amazing things. Very, very proud. Very, very proud.
You can find him on Instagram at Kwajo Housing, which is KWAJO Housing, and he also has a Just Giving page that's been set up as well, and so he's accepting donations because he's been doing this for a few years totally for free. So if you've got anything, please donate to him as well.
He's doing amazing work. Anyway, when he went into some woman's house and the roaches and the mice, the conditions that she's living in, and he managed to, and it's so annoying that the attention, just because he brought it to social media and stuff, then the council started fixing up and the woman's going to be rehoused. But it's just, he shouldn't have to do it. And he lost his own dad to cancer, didn't he? And madness. It's anyway, superhero. All right. Let's get down to business. This is Your Aunties Could Never. We are a podcast. However, we do stream over YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And what I need you guys to do is go, when you're listening back to us on our audio platforms, like Apple and Spotify, leave your reviews. And the reason why we need you to leave your reviews is because it makes us great. We want to be great, rich aunties. So leave your reviews, positive reviews, and like us on Spotify. And what we're going to do, which I'm going to quickly do, which I'm going to get probably one of you other guys to do, so it's not always me talking. We got some really good reviews. And I'd like to read out from Stacey News on Apple. They said, we needed this podcast. Love the way I'm kept up to date with politics in the UK and US. A much needed show. I look forward to listening to your views every week. That's Stacey News. Thank you, my darling. That's a wonderful.
Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you.
Sheila95 said, the best aunties ever. Honestly, this show is amazing because you don't even get to see or hear you don't get to see or even hear mature Black women talking the way these women in media speak. Not on TV, not in movies, not even on radio. These women are hilarious, and I love how they consistently keep it real week in, week out. Seriously, if you want a breakdown of what's happening in the world with a side of shade and laughter and some extra reality added to it, tune in. 10 out of 10, ladies. I mean, my head is gassed.
Nice.
I'm blatantly fully gassed now. Right.
Okay, I'm going to give you more. I'm actually going to give you more. Superstar 2000 said, they thought it and the aunties will say it loud and clear. I love this podcast. I look forward to listening every week in capital letters. I think it's refreshing to hear your views on topical issues. I love that you're all different in your views and represent us all eloquently. Keep up the good work, fellow aunties. And the last one, funny as F from Nay Fleen. Love this and them. Love the genuine fun they have chatting together. It's like an interesting, witty, funny conversation you overhear and chuckle to yourself as you listen. I mean, guys. Guys, do you want me to cry?
You know,
want me to cry? This is very emotional. Thank you.
Very nice.
So please, more comments so we can read. Look, your name goes up in lights too, and you'll get a very celebratory auntie clap from me and the aunties. Thank you for commenting. That was really cute. So thank you guys.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So now let's get back down to real business. This is time. We've done a new thing. We're kind of mixing it up a little bit, to keep it fresh. So we're going to kind of combine what have you heard in the streets and for the culture. So I'm thinking that it might go, what have you heard for the culture? What have you heard for the culture? What have you heard for the culture? What have you heard for the culture?
We can go into the studio and record this song.
What have you heard for the culture? What have you heard for the culture? What have you heard for the culture?
You guys finished? I really miss
We're fully gassed. We are so gassed at those reviews that I blatantly want to start dancing.
What have you heard for the culture? What have you heard for the culture? You know this is a bop, Auntie Sade.
It is.
Mate.
All right, say nothing. We're going to...
Okay, yeah. Let's...
Anyway, this is where we're going to discuss the news and the stories that hit culture, hit the headlines, hit the mainstream. We're going to bring it all together in one messy bowl and get to the bottom of it.
And leave your questions and comments as well. We'll read them out.
Do that too. And on IG Live, guys. Yes. It's this week, by the way, because next week is Valentine's Day. we air the day after Valentine's Day. Today's a bit of a love fest, so we're going to be talking about love and stuff. We're going to try and put love into everything we talk about, even the most odd topics. So here we go. What have you heard for the culture? We've got a bunch of stories here. We've got Thandiwe Newton's love for dark-skinned women. Is this love or is it nonsense? We've got the Janet Jackson documentary. Beyonce Knowles' dad Matthew celebrating and showing love for Joe Jackson's parental skills. We've got love in the metaverse. Apparently, there's now
love.
Well, love in the metaverse, I should say, turning into sexual assault. How do we police the metaverse? And also, when Kanye West fell in love with Kim, and now falling out of love with Kim, and now is causing trouble to Kim and making everyone else fall in love with Kim. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of in love and out of love with Kim and Kanye right now. And then we've got age verification on porn sites. For those who love porn, there is now age verification. And The Rock has stopped showing love to Joe Rogan because of his N-word mentioning on Spotify. There's a lot of stuff we can get through. Guys, what do you want to talk about first?
Can we start with Thandiwe's love of dark-skinned women?
Okie dokie. Let's go. That's my news story. So, Thandiwe Newton, legendary actress from the UK, very, very, very much sealed her position in Hollywood as a big name actress, well known. She's got a film actually coming out soon called God's Country. She's a mixed race woman who recently took to social media. Well, she didn't. That's a lie. She actually had an interview in a magazine and was asked about her career and her, her presence as a mixed race woman in the industry and discussing the impact of prejudice within the film industry. And she said, she talked about the stuff that she's experienced as a light-skinned woman in Hollywood. And she said that when she grew up in the UK, she was seen as very dark-skinned because she was maybe one of few. And so she had a culture shock when she got to America, where she wasn't seen as dark skinned. She was not seen as just a black woman. She was now a light skinned woman and had a lot of attack. She's, in her words, I'm paraphrasing as well, from dark skinned women who said that she's taking their men and taking their jobs and basically filling up the space, taking up space is what they say. And so she tearfully, as she went through the interview, started to cry and get emotional. And she issued an apology. Some would say heartfelt, some would say other, we'll discuss. Heartfelt apology to dark-skinned women specifically for taking our men, for taking our jobs, and for taking up space. Unfortunately, her tears and her words weren't met with empathy, sympathy, or respect, because people felt like, why now? This is not needed. And it's very, very, very short-sighted. Guys, what did you think of Thandiwe's tearful outburst? Auntie Nana, because you laughed.
It's just the way you went into like it was a eulogy or something. Okay, so the outburst. Watching the first part of it, I was like, this is super cringe. It almost felt like a parody of a really bad like scene. That I was a bit baffed. Like, what is this? Is this real? Is she really crying? Does she need help? Because it was just messy to me. Like, I found it totally cringy. The second part was equally as cringy, but I guess offered a bit more context as to her talking about this latest role that she has and like answering a question. So it kind of pieced it together. But it was even worse, I felt, actually adding in that context, because the cringiness for me was the same old trope that happens, like you're kind of blaming of dark-skinned women for this type of treatment and not actually assessing the whole spectrum of what's going on, that is all to do with racism. So her saying like, I've suffered more racism from African American women than anybody else, it's just really short-sighted. And I was disappointed in her, because once she changed her name, this is all perception and based on nothing, I do not know her, but once she changed her name, I just felt like maybe there was some type of a growth that had taken place with her. So in this little excerpt that we saw, it was like, oh, flip's sake, like you're just you're perpetuating the same things that we kind of expect to some degree from light skin or mixed race women, who, it's not to say that they haven't suffered from some type of prejudice and been bullied in some way, but it's the heaping, it's taking colorism from the definition of what colorism is and then reversing it and being like, but wrongdoing has been done to me. And so I need to believe in myself, and now I'm getting strong. Instead of really assessing how white supremacy works and how actually your proximity to whiteness will also affect the global spectrum of who gets jobs and that you are in a privileged position. It was just like, yeah, it was icky. It gave me the ick.
Auntie Sade.
Yeah, I think like I wanted to feel more empathy for her, and I was struggling. I was just struggling. If I'm being honest, I was absolutely struggling, because it reminded, you know what? It reminded me of when white people apologize for being white. Right? They're just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm white. I'm so sorry that I was, born this way and slavery happened and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, as a dark-skinned woman, and, I fit into, we all actually, minus Farah, obviously, fit into the category of who she's talking about. If we was actresses, she would directly talking to us. As a dark-skinned woman, what am I supposed to do with what she's saying? What do I do with that? Like, I just think it's just, and I think that this is a kind of not a revelation of our current like space in society where we are, this whole kind of need to purge all your feelings and everything in a moment, and not holding back and not considering how that makes other people feel. It's the centering of yourself in these moments just because you've had an experience. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I feel like, and maybe there's, I don't know, studies on this, but I feel like there's a real selfishness to that when a issue doesn't just affect you, and only know it affects other people as well, large groups of people, and centering yourself, I think is really selfish and a bit ignorant. So I struggled, to be honest, to find empathy. I understand, and I know not everyone's going to agree with me at all. Do you know what I mean? Because her experience is her experience, and I get that. But like, I was just like, what are we supposed to do with this? Do you know what I mean? And she's like, sorry. Her first was like, I'm sorry for taking your men. What are you talking about? Your man's not black. Like, what? It was just such a, I don't know if that's a projection, a delusion. I don't know what that was. That was weird. And then it was like, sorry about the roles. That was weird. And it's just like, there are things that you could do. There are things that other lighter skinned actresses do. Do you know what I mean? To acknowledge their privilege, like turn down roles, not cry on camera and then proceed to say, well, because I've done this and everyone's saying I gave a good performance and that was meant for me. No, that means you're doubling down. That's what that means. That means you're doubling down and saying, yes, I am the right person for the role. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, so therefore, how am I supposed to take anything that you're saying as genuine? It's just, no, I can't accept that. And also as well, why are you putting me in a position where I have to accept your apology as well, kind of thing? Like, it's like this, I don't even know. It's like, because you're crying, I feel sorry for you. This is what happens with white women tears. They do something, they cry, and you're supposed to feel sorry for them when actually they have made the problem. No, you're doing exactly the same thing. You're benefiting off white supremacy. That's what you are. Maybe you don't have the insight, knowledge, experience, and all that stuff to know that's exactly what you're doing. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that little pinch that maybe you don't fully know what you're doing. but you need to wake up, because if you're going to speak on something, know what the hell you're talking about. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I feel, you know, a real frustration that it's like every day we wake up as dark-skinned Black women, there's always something else. Like, how the fuck did we get involved in this one now?
Yes.
What did we do? You know what I mean? It's just like, huh? What's happened? And then also as well, my other thing is like, you know, and we talk about this a lot on the show, we're not here for this ADOS movement, you know? Do you know what I mean? Like, in the sense of the rivalry between, we're not here for rivalry for Brits. I say we, maybe I mean I, with Brits versus Americans. No, please. Just tone it all the way down, Fandi, or I don't know, how do you say her name probably? Thandiwe. Yeah? Thandiwe.
Yeah.
Like, turn it all the way down. Like, we don't, what are you, what's racial tension are you stoking here? Just relax. Do you know what I mean? Because also as well, in what part of the UK do people see you as light? I mean, as dark skin. What are you talking about? Like, the thing is, it's just like, because the way she was framing it was that Black people in the UK see her as dark, and Black people in the US see her as light.
Yeah.
That is just not true. If you're talking about white people seeing you as dark, that's something else. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But don't lump it. You're conflating. And it's wrong. She needs to nonsense. Conclusion nonsense.
Do you know what? When I got the bit of context, I had a bit more empathy for this one, because when I first saw the video, I actually thought there was something wrong, and I went immediately like, is she okay? Is she having a breakdown? She's now she's discovering her roots, and maybe on her journey of discovering her roots, she's having an existential crisis about being mixed race and light skin, and it's all coming out in a crazy, I don't mean that insultingly, but I mean in a kind of a massive chaotic confusion, and she doesn't know how to handle it. So I thought, because again, you know, we're not in control of what the media does to us, and so what the first thing that was released wasn't contextual. It was just the clip of her crying and saying sorry. I saw it. I think it was Sky News had released the clip first, and it was like there was no context. No one quite knew. Just the big headline: Thandiwe Newton apologized to dark-skinned women, and then it just sets everyone else off on a path, myself included, whether you were cussing her out or felt sorry for her or worried for her, without context, at least better context. Not saying that her context was even better, but it was better than what was released out there. And, you know, it made me, like I said, worry for her, and worry if she's, you know, in a situation that things are going to go spiraling to another place. But similarly to what you guys have just said, when I got the context, I kind of was like, okay, I get it. I get being possibly, I think she grew up in Cornwall and then came to London. So there might have been a time where, and especially maybe being mixed race in the family, maybe you're surrounded by white people and stuff like that. I'm not sure about her dynamics in the home, but lots of people who come from mixed race families can tend to be isolated in their Blackness because they are the darkest than everybody else in their family. So that could be.
Mum's Black.
But her mum's darker than her.
No, I know. I'm saying that
and that would be white people seeing her as the dark.
No, exactly. I'm not. And
not Black women.
No, I'm not saying that. I haven't finished. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That though her mother her mum is dark skinned. That environment when you're kids and you could be the only kid in that space being Black, and then you are made to feel like as dark as myself, for example. So that experience is real. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But then expand on that, explain that. Don't just, as everyone says, generalize and make it out to be like, you know, this is this thing where everybody saw me as dark skin. Because I mean, as long as Thandiwe has been around, I've never ever. She's always been the mixed race actress. She's always been a light skin actress. No one, you know, as mixed race people can straddle two camps. Yes, they usually get put into the black box, but then they're also sectioned into the light. There's shadism within our community, so then she would have been placed in the light skin space. I don't know. I did feel sorry for her when I got more context. Not sorry, I felt empathetic, a bit more empathetic, and I thought, you know, we often as dark skinned women and with and Auntie Farah being lighter skinned than us, we do have this conversation and explore how it's difficult for light skinned people to even have a conversation about their experiences without being vilified and shut down because of their privilege. So I felt like,
that conversation without pointing the trigger at dark-skinned women.
No,
like that's the thing. So when people do that, that's what's annoying. And there's the other thing as well. Sorry, I know I am jumping. It's just like I just don't think that. I think that sometimes when you have a certain energy, people might just not like you because of your energy, not because you're light. Do you know what I mean? Like it kind of has, and also what if you're benefiting from those privileges and are ignorant to it and carrying yourself a certain way, and you don't, do you know what I mean? People can just react off of that. It's not just because, oh, I'm so pretty and everyone, you know, I'm so talented, so it's not my fault. It is literally, you know, Gretchen's apology in Mean Girls. Like, it's literally like, it's not my fault that I'm so popular. You know, everyone hates me, so it's not my fault. What the fuck? Are you all right? Like, seriously. Very, I don't know. Silly lady. That's what I think.
Go on then, finish your point.
No, I kind of said it. I was getting there, but you kind of said it. So
sorry.
Okay. What I wanted to go back to was the lie that she espouted to in the UK. I'm seen as dark skin. That's a flat out lie. You have a black mother, so you would know. Just looking at her, you're not the same as her. You know this. You would know as soon as you came into London. You would know in casting spaces. You would know that you're not light skinned. You're not dark skinned. And then it's a whole shock when I got to the US and they're seeing me as light skinned and I'm no longer dark skinned. It's like that's just a full on lie. You clearly were so you knew now in context that your mum was dark because your whole thing is you're the color of my mama. That's why I thought it was a parody. Because I was like, who says things like that? Like that's so maybe it's like you know, an old taping or something or some play that is out there. That I was really like, this can't be real, but that's a lie. And I think a lot of British people kind of try and when they are in American spaces, go on like racism over here is quite like it runs in a different way, like it's very cut and dry and it's so different to America, and it's like no it isn't. That's a whole ass lie. You know that you'd be considered light skin or mixed race, you know this, so don't try and be like, oh, I didn't know my coloring. It's like, yeah, you did. It just got you into spaces to be more black, and you use that, and loads of people do. There's times when people tan and they want to be more of a medium brownie type of color. It's like just be honest with it, and maybe this is factual. People just didn't like you because there's airs and graces that come along with privilege that some folks are just like, I'm not tolerating it. If you've been treated and mollycoddled and really like put on a pedestal, it doesn't matter where you are, but you're not picking up on it when white people do it to you, but you want to pick up on it when dark-skinned people do it to you because you feel that they are inferior to you and they should put you on a pedestal. And when that doesn't happen, I was being bullied. And it's like actually too many circumstances when you start delving a little bit deeper into the person's personality, you're like, you was a candidate where people just don't like you. And you probably have as many stories from white women doing exactly the same thing, but you're expecting it from them because you do view yourself as lesser than them. So they can be a bitch. But when a dark-skinned person is being a bitch to you, you want to be like, I was bullied and I've always been bullied. I've been bullied all my life. We can all have stories of being bullied, and sometimes it has nothing to do with our skin color, and it's just the facts of life.
Afia Hirsch, another mixed race lady who's popular in the UK, she does presenting and she's an author and she's actually about to get into film as well. She issued a note. She didn't directly address Thandiwe, but it came pretty much on the back of the video going viral. And she said, dear mixed race people, 1, learn about white supremacy and how you benefit from it through your proximity to whiteness. 2, work out how you will contribute to the struggle for Black liberation. You don't have to do any of these things, but if not, don't speak about them. Thank you. So I think what Thandiwe didn't do was pause and think and reflect before she spoke. She got caught up in the moment. I don't know where the tears came from. I don't know if this is something that she's been struggling to deal with and conversate with, but like as Afia said, and probably many other people said, there's places you can go, there's conversations you can have, there's groups you can find. You're in I mean, I don't know her circles, I don't know if her friendship circle is very white, I don't know if she feels isolated, I don't know what's going on, but there's places to get this information and have these conversations. And there's loads of conversations online. How many times has this conversation come up and go back and forth? It's been going on for time and time and time. So it's not necessarily an excuse, but she was, I just don't know why it went that way in that conversation.
We're tired, man. And I think also as well, like I think I'm just probably just very skeptical. Do you know what I mean? Because I think it's just a very manipulating tactic. Do you know what I mean? Like if I want someone to sympathize with me, then cry. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it was almost on cue. Like it was just ridiculous. Like I don't know, man. It just felt like acting, unfortunately.
It did look like an audition piece as well, because that's the thing. It's unfortunate because it did look like an audition piece as well. It was just very, very random. And to be honest, I actually hope she gets something out of it. And people have been hard, and everyone's tired. People are tired.
We're tired because why are you attacking us?
But
this is the thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that now, like the conversation's not even being had. I've actually been quite joyful. I think I said it last week that there's a lot of shows with a lot of dark-skinned women in, and I'm not even saying that I've never wanted it just to be all dark-skinned women in shows and stuff like that. I just want a level playing field where if you're going to have a mix of women, let all shades be present. And if you're going to have a mix of women and have black women in a show, not have the dark-skinned ones as the hood ghetto friend. Not there's anything wrong with being the hood ghetto friend, but only forever in that category without ever being maybe the one that's desired or the one that's doing something different, or you know what I mean? Stop boxing us into these negative stereotypes these stereotypes have become negative, which they're not, but because you only see people in a certain category all the time, they become negative. So that's all it is. It's like level the playing field and let everyone enjoy each other and the truth shining colors that we are without being hierarchy.
The facts are that, and they do this in advertising and shows and TV and film as well. Like most black men are with black women, and there are more dark-skinned people in the world, period. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what country you're in, whatever kind of thing. When it comes to black people, there's more dark-skinned people, and it's just not represented in these TVs. And she benefits from that. She does benefit from that. That's a very simple fact. And it's just like then to turn around and say, dark-skinned African American women don't like me. Oh, come on, man.
I mean, have you guys seen Half of a Yellow Sun by the film by B. Bandele? It was B. Bandele who directed it.
Oh, I did.
Adapted Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's book.
Yeah.
Thandiwe played a character that in the book was fair but not as fair.
Yeah.
There's controversy around that. We've had actresses like Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone.
Yeah.
So there's no way you can be oblivious to the conversations that have happened in Hollywood, especially about, lighter skinned actresses taking roles or accepting roles where possibly they could have stepped aside. And that's all it is. And it's not saying you lose your livelihood and you don't work again and you're forever bowing down, because we don't want to be victimized. And also everyone's level playing field. Talent, let the talent shine through. Let it not be because you're light skinned, and don't sit in your privilege until one day it doesn't serve you and then you project it onto other groups or other people, misdirect your upset. But
I think overall she was being defensive because she's already come under fire for this. So you're trying to justify why you are the person for this role, when again lots of people were saying that the role should have gone to a dark-skinned actress. Maybe the fact that you have to be defensive about it, people were right. It should have gone to a dark-skinned actress. It's like actually and those are the things where I don't have any sympathy for her, because I am like, you're lashing out, you're feeling shit, and then you want to put this whole, oh, poor you little dark-skinned people. Like, I'm so sorry. It was extremely condescending with tears, and exactly what Auntie Sade said. We didn't ask for this. You just wake up and want to get through your day. You don't, again, want to have somebody being like, oh my God, the downtrodden dark-skinned people again. And, oh, I didn't mean to do it to you. It's not that.
And like I said, we're at a time, we're in a Renaissance time where at the moment, it's not everywhere. It's not healed. It's not fixed. But there are a lot of dark-skinned women working, if you're talking about in the arts, on screen specifically. And it's not that everything's okay, but we're okay for now. The conversation wasn't even happening for this moment. And maybe when it resurfaces, we can have another conversation. But at the moment, let's not stoke the fires. We're all right at the moment.
Has she issued anything to say to show how that she's learning, or what dark-skinned charity she's donating to.
I looked the day after and there didn't seem to be anything happening on her socials. Like, you know, when people remove themselves for a little bit, like it was like everything had kind of frozen. But yeah, she hadn't done the I'm sorry if I offended anybody with that video that went round. She hadn't done one of those yet.
I just think, like, I know that's probably coming. It's going to have to, because people are going to ask her about it, right? But I just think, like, it's just so easy. It's just so easy to do this, and also it gets popularity about her film, isn't it? People then really just look up what she's doing and stuff and everything like that. I just don't know. I can't trust it. I really can't. Like, she knows. The thing is, like, she knows in the UK she's not dark skinned, mate. Like, you know this. Don't be silly. I met Thandi back in 2006. Yeah, she knows we're not the same colour. Come on. Let's just stop being silly.
Let's get some comments.
Is it me this week? Hang on, sorry. Let me just scroll up. There's quite a few that came in. Hello to everybody that is watching with us.
Hi.
There's so many folks in here. So I'm going to go from T. Smith says, I think her tears were merely one of her performances. She benefited from her colour for so many years. And she gives a round of applause to Auntie Sade. And also says she comes across as patronising. And SOS, I think that's Sylv, says, enjoying the show. I think Fendi wasn't clear. Yes, second clip provided more context. And Natalie says, oh my God, Auntie Nana, you are spot on. And goes on to say she needs a red table talk. And then Nicola says, more like a Yanla fix my life. And SOS Sylv says, bravo to Afia's reaction. Sorry, I'm behind, ladies. Sky wasn't the right platform.
And hand me my polish. I love that handle. It says on IG Live, just like Kanye, she don't have aunties like you all to call first before putting all on the net. Because, like, why?
I mean, she could have DM'd one of us, like, about it. It would have helped.
She could, anyone.
Maybe she would like to come on and chat with us.
Maybe.
You know, I'm always offering up space. Like, let's have a conversation with Fendi.
No, I would talk to her. I would talk to her.
We all would. At the end of the day. We all would.
Real, mate, because what are you talking about, babe? I'd be like, really? What are you on about?
She'd cry again. Okay, what else we got? We got Janet Jackson. We've got Love in the Metaverse, which is not actually Love in the Metaverse.
It's not. The tax in the Metaverse.
Yeah, Kanye West and Kim, which you know that pisses me off. Age verification on porn sites, and The Rock, Spotify, and Joe Rogan.
Let's catch up with Kanye and Kim.
Come on, we've been avoiding this for weeks.
Whose story is Kanye? Who put Kanye in the mix? Let's guess. Who put Kanye in the mix?
I mean,
okay, it was me. Okay, so my questions. I mean, you said everything had to involve love, and I think I did the best that I could with the parameters that you set forth. So my questions are: when Kanye fell in love with Kim, he didn't care what the Black community had to say, and now he's fallen out of love with Kim. He's weaponizing Black rage. These are my opinions. He's weaponizing Black rage and our love for him against Kim Kardashian. Do you agree? Have you fallen out of love with Kanye West and fallen in love with Kim? Where do you stand on this?
I would like to go first in saying I have fallen out of love with Kanye West a long time ago. It's not a question of love. I was a fan of his music. I don't get too gassed into the personality of people because I very much learned quite quickly that celebrities let you down when you follow them too closely, no matter what. So I've separated myself from being a super personality fan of Kanye. But yeah, his music, once he got with Kim, I think it was that. And I was a bit like, you know, Black man pushing an exotic woman as the pinnacle of beauty over Black women. And yeah, it made me look at him sideways for that, for what it's worth. So no, I don't love Kanye. Fell out of love with him. He is a musical genius. Yes, sure. Seen him in concert many times. Whatever. And yes, he is weaponizing because now he's trying to get us to. Now he's trying to kind of diss Kim about her. Like he's basically implying she's a culture vulture. And when he was endorsing her culture vultureness, he was defending her. Literally, I'm going to leave you gold diggery black women for a white, wonderful, beautiful woman. And you pushed this woman to the forefront. You enhanced her in, her exotic looks and celebrated them, influenced a whole nation and generation of people for the type of women, beauty standard ideals. And now you're trying to turn that on its back and say, now look, she's a culture vulture. That's disgusting. And don't make me start falling in love with Kim Kardashian because you're disgusting ways, Kanye. I just think it's nonsense what he's doing. The fact is we don't know the ins and outs of their relationship, so I don't know who's at fault when it comes down to nitty gritty. He's doing some reckless things, it seems, on paper. I don't know what's going on between them. I don't know what's true and what's not. If Kim's keeping the kids away from him, why is she keeping the kids away from him? If he's doing the most, why is he doing the most? Is his mental health stable? There's all these things that we actually don't know as voyeurs into this madness. What they need to do is take their shit off social media, keep it behind closed doors because there's kids involved at this point. We don't need to know this shit. We don't need to see people's texts. We don't need to see your DMs from each other. Both of them need to stop doing that. Stop this argument in public and just sort yourselves out because there's kids involved. That's all I have to say. Fucking nonsense. Auntie Sade.
Well, Kanye is the king of like problematic black men with platforms, isn't he? He's like he's a reigning champion for that. And I think it's only you, Auntie Nana and Auntie Farah, who were in love with him in the first place. Like definitely, there's no love lost at all. Like I don't like Kanye in that way. I think he's been problematic for a minute and a half. Like seriously, he's
I think I need to take the task tomorrow.
So you're not on mute.
You're not on mute.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. My daughter's showing me her uniform. Sorry.
Okay. It's good to see that you're really focused on what we're saying.
My dad, she knows I'm live and she came in. She's excited. We're excited. She showed me her uniform. She did come and disturb me. Sorry.
So I just think that Kanye cares about himself. That's what it is. He cares about himself. And I was really thinking, I was just like, oh my God, he already just released an album. Is another album coming? And then I realized it's the documentary. So he's got a documentary with Netflix. He probably wants it to be the most streamed documentary in the history of the world. So he is kicking up as much drama. Remember that Kardashians have stopped, they're not showing anymore. They're not filming anymore. So it's just like, what else can he do? What other platform can he use to make sure that people watch his documentary and keep attention on him? Now, saying that, I do say this also with the man has a condition. We all know that he is bipolar, and that makes it even more problematic in terms of like how you actually respond and deal with this and how you actually process this, right? Because how much of this is part of his condition and how much of this is just an arsehole personality? Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, can you even, and sorry if I'm not speaking in a way that's sensitive to it, because I really am confused, is like, can you differentiate the two? Is it possible to? Do you know what I mean? Because I would have thought that there are people with this condition who are not acting like this. And also Kanye's got a history of treating women badly when he's finished with them. Look what he done to Amber Rose. He tried to destroy that woman, like whether you like her or not, do you know what I mean? Or like what she stands for, like he tried to destroy her and it's out of order. And now you're doing exactly the same thing to Kim. Why? Because she doesn't want to be with you because you're unpredictable. It doesn't necessarily make me like Kim anymore. I'm more like, oh, this is not to I'm not like reveling in the demise, but it is kind of entertaining. I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is kind of like a TV show, but played out on social media, because he really is dragging the family. He was posting texts of Kim's cousin's arts in for Yeezy. which is one of the most messiest things. And I know Kim is pissed. Kim is pissed. She is pissed, mate. Do you know what I mean? And he's posting it like, you know, see, they support me in the dark. They're not, you know, they're supposed to go and say something on the platforms, but they're supporting in the dark. No, babe, they want Yeezys. Do you know what I mean? Or Kim is asking them to message you to pretend that they're supporting you so you calm down a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, this ain't like, what's it like? You're getting played. So he's throwing every toy out of the pram at the moment. And it's like, yeah, I just think I can't buy his I'm a black man and I'm a black dad, and you know, these white women are now blocking me from seeing my black children.
Yeah.
Really, Kanye? No, this is not because you're black. It's because you're acting in a way that is problematic to the people around you. That's what this is.
I find it so disappointing as somebody that I like Kanye. I don't know about love, but I definitely like him. Generally liked what he stood for and his past activities. But this one is like, I'm really disgusted with what he's doing, because the plight of fatherhood is not easy for so many men, and to actually jump on this like I'm being like disrespected and held back from my kids, but then in another fashion you're running around with a woman and you're claiming that you want your wife back, but then you're running around with Julia Fox all over the place. She has a 1-year-old child. That to me is like extremely irresponsible from both of them. But as he's going on about his fatherhood stuff, what about her baby father who's there complaining about how she's not really been around since she got with Kanye, and this was before her child even turned 1. So it's like all of this to me is just hugely disappointing in Kanye, and him really like trying to get kind of black Twitter and black people to just rally around and go at Kim. No, it's disgusting. It's not okay. I get his whole thing with TikTok, if that's even real. If you really are like, I don't want North on TikTok, I think that's a discussion, but that's not for anybody in the public to be involved in. That's for you and your wife, because she isn't an ex-wife yet, to actually be discussing how you're going to do this, and then you reach a compromise. If she is the one that's there and she's like, it's fine and I'm always there, or another adult is there and she isn't doing this by herself, you kind of sometimes you got to pick your battles and you take it, but you don't take it to the internet so that everybody else is jumping on her, like being like, you're an irresponsible mother and all of this stuff. I think it's actually really disgusting what he's doing.
A woman that he met online, like not online, but you get me, she lives her life in socials. And though he's always, well, from what we've seen, he's been reluctant to be involved in the Kardashian circus. You still married a woman like that. So it can't be surprising that your children are going to be, as soon as able, are going to be on social media. It doesn't make any sense. So this kind of outrage, I'm very, very, I did not know Julia Fox had a 1-year-old child, because again, I pay no attention to these people. I saw the ridiculous photo shoot with the Madonna, and we knew it was, they didn't give any context. We knew it was some sort of PR stunt. That picture was good. And so I did not know Julia Fox had just had a baby. And I don't want to restrict new mothers to, you know, to conforming to ideals of what a mother should and shouldn't do. But in this instance, running around with a man that's calling out his children's mother. You've got a baby at home. Your baby father's calling you out for not being present. It's messy. It's trash. It's nonsense. Everybody needs to
I think, well, maybe I'm just in a judgmental mood today, but I do think as a new mother, your hormones haven't even settled yet. It's a year. And you're running around, hopping on planes with Kanye West, who's in the middle of like a messy divorce and is promoting a documentary and another album. Like that doesn't seem like the place where the behavior mother should be. Like you should be rearing your child. Really, like I don't think that's too judgmental to say.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think she can do what the hell she wants as long as the child is safe and happy and loved and looked after. I just don't think that what Kanye's doing in particular is like very healthy for his children. Do you know what I mean? Like that is like, as far as I know, Julia's not saying anything, she's not posting anything, she's just with him and that's her choice. But Kanye is actively screenshotting, he's actively calling out his, you know, his not ex-wife yet. He actively blocked Kim from being able to declare that she is legally single. He blocked that. Do you know what I mean? That's petty behavior. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the relationship's over, like, let it be done. She wants out, you're not letting her out, you know? And that is like, that's very it kind of goes like possessive. It kind of goes into the realm of like, you know, I am rich, famous, and powerful, so I can have all, you know, I have the money to be able to fight these things. Do you know what I mean? And like, Kim, obviously, she has her own issues and stuff and everything like that. But, you know, I just think no one wants this for their children. When Kim is on North is on TikTok, it's Kim and North. Do you know what I mean? North doesn't have her own account. She's with Kim. They put measures in place to make sure that, you know, her child is, or their child is safe. You know, he doesn't agree with it. He doesn't agree with it. But at the same time, it's easy for the average person to say, no, you shouldn't be on thingy, but we don't live their world. Like, it's just a completely different reality. Like, what North and her siblings are exposed to from young ages is way beyond our wildest frigging dreams. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying it's essential, but I kind of get it. And also as well, the Kardashians in particular, the way they make money is by selling their lifestyle. And that, you know, if you look at, you know, obviously the others were older, but if you look at Kylie and Kendall, they started when they're young. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's how they make money. So again, it would be difficult. I just think Kim thought she was going to get an easy ride with Kanye. I don't know. I think she misjudged, to be honest.
That's what I wanted to know. I want to know when. I'd love to know when it shifted, when she was like, oh, when she or when he was like, oh no, this is going to go left, because it seems to be this discord doesn't. They've not. It's not that they showed it. And there were obviously issues in the headlines, but they were usually around him having an episode, and Kim finding it hard to deal with. But nastiness and this kind of now wanting to be divorced people. I didn't necessarily see that coming. I think the little attention I paid to these guys, and that's maybe because I paid so little attention to them ins and outs of them. I literally thought that they would split amicably, maybe some tension, like usual divorce tension, but I didn't see it turning into this. I really genuinely didn't, because
I think it's from when they first announced they were splitting up, and then they went to the Met Gala together, and then Kim was at his show with the kids as well, and that was all in the space of like, we're divorcing. I think it's from when Kim decided, I'm not going to go along with his plans.
Yeah.
So when she's kind of like, actually, me being in his world is not enabling us to get a divorce, I think that's when it got sour. I mean, she was literally just playing along, trying to be amicable in getting a divorce. And then when it's actually like, you know what, if I do this, we're never going to get a divorce. We're not going to, I'm just playing his game. That's when he ramped up the manipulativeness, like, and kind of coming to the public with, this is what Kim's doing to me. I think that's when he took it up a notch. I can't say it's a two-way street. I feel she's responded to him, but he's always been the aggressor. He's attacked her and then she's responded. He's attacked her and then she's responded. Maybe we could say, oh, don't respond, but I'd find it bloody hard if I was in her position.
No, because
she would not say anything.
She's done well not to respond for so long. You know what I mean?
He's breaking He's breaking the bubble, because obviously the part that you said, Auntie Shadi, that's entertaining is exposing the Kardashians that present, even though they present their flaws are controlled. So to see the real shit behind them, that's probably what I'd tune into if I really wanted to engage, is to see, because I don't like the dominance that they've had on the culture, for obvious reasons. However, so exposing that, like the reality, not the fake reality that they present to us, that's entertaining, but it's also not nice because there are children involved and they're human beings. Whatever the case, I don't hate them as humans.
Yeah.
But that side of things is like, yeah, you're exposing it, but it's true. We don't need to be talking all this shit. What I would like to know, though, as well, is how long of the relationship was constructed, because in the first place, I never saw these two together. I thought it was weird, but it happened. But there was always an element like, is this a constructed relationship?
Like a business kind of deal.
How long was this love? Was it ever love? Was there a way years beyond split when it's like, we know we're not going to be together. However, we need to do this for up our brands and stuff. Because I never really believed in that. I never really saw them. I didn't get it, didn't believe in it. Maybe that's why it was also easy for me not to connect to their presence as a couple. I didn't believe in Kim and Kanye.
I think they made sense. There's not many people who she can date or be with and marry. Like, do you know what I mean? That could be like,
of course,
actually.
But I just
where she fits, kind of thing, a good match. But I think that also as well, it's just like Kanye just likes things his way. Like where did he live? Wyoming. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, you married me and then you moved to Wyoming. Like, it's just wild. Like, Kim is like, you know, watching the Kardashians over the years. She, you know, as much as, you know, she's media, whatever kind of thing, she's a family girl. Do you know what I mean? They all are, you know? And it's just, that's, I think his outlandish ways and also like the way he's trying to dominate, it's like he's trying to dominate the relationship. And Kim, although she presents as like, oh, you know, maybe I'm a little bit airheady, she's not really. You can't command, you know, do you know what I mean, that amount of wealth and that amount of attention for this amount of time and be a donor. Like, it's just not, that's just not possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think he just wants, I don't know what he wants, but all I know is that when he leaves a relationship, he attempts to destroy the woman. Like, do you know what I mean? That's basically what he's done in his past relationships. So, like, I think
he only didn't fit with the black woman.
Yeah, the first when he was first famous, his woman was black.
Yeah, but there was another chick that he was seeing before this Julia girl,
the young black girl,
18-year-old or something.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, where was she? Like, and the thing is, it's like people are saying, "Oh, Kim, take him back," when he's got a living girlfriend at the time, and now he's got another one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just
people are stupid.
And also as well, like, how much of this is like, you know, it does seem like, unfortunately, I don't know, you know, but it does seem like rebound Kanye, and even maybe Kim's relationship with Pete, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. It's just a lot.
Let's get the comments.
Okay, just one comment that I've seen from Natalie says, Kanye said he didn't want North on TikTok, but why screenshot her TikTok photo and post it with his large following? So he's doing the same thing. Yeah.
It's that weird, mad social media parenting where you're trying to shame the child or shame the situation by putting it out. So now millions of people have a picture of your child. And, you know, that's only going to up her numbers and all that type of stuff. It's I've had enough. What else have we got in the news or the culture? Janet Jackson documentary, Love in the Metaverse. I've got to stop saying Love in the Metaverse because it's not Love in the Metaverse.
You told me to put love in everything.
Oh, yeah.
It was the juxtaposition that I was going for, because there is love there, and then there's also sexual assault.
Yeah. So Love in the Metaverse turning into sexual assault. Let's deal with it, because it's something that's coming. And of course, creepy men, because I haven't reported any women. Sorry, it's your story, but I'm just saying creepy. Yeah, go on, it's your story.
No, it's cool. That was literally it. I was just, and I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me if I'm being ignorant, but because it said the full article is like, the woman is reporting that she was sexually attacked and raped in the metaverse. I was like, how does that happen? So I can understand harassment, but how can you be like you was raped in the metaverse? Like, how do you get raped virtually? That's all I was like, how does that happen? What takes place?
So
your avatar, no, they will grab you've got a character, and they can hold on to your character and like do a sexual gesture, but this was like multiple men or male characters, let's say that kind of thing, doing these sexual gestures against her avatar or her character. The problem is, and what I saw, it was like, because you can disconnect, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe she was in a state of shock, though. Do you know what I mean? Because you wouldn't really expect that to happen. And like, I think you have headsets so you can hear what people are saying as well. There is a person attached to everybody's avatars. So, you know, yeah, like it was a virtual rape, really, because it's against her will. She didn't want it. And they were just being really gross. Like, it's just, and it's sexual, and they're sexualizing. It's just, why?
So according to the BBC situation, how they reported it was that Bloomberg technology columnist Palmy Olsen spoke to BBC about her creepy experiences, and she said one woman likened her own traumatic experience to sexual abuse, so likened it rather than it actually being. It says something like, I did have some moments when it was awkward for me as a woman, Miss Olsen said of her interactions in virtual reality. She was visiting Meta's Horizon World, which is the world on Metaverse. For anyone over 18 can create an avatar and hang out. And she said that in her experience, she was the only female avatar. And these men came around her and started staring at her and taking pictures of her and giving her the pictures. And then a guy kind of zoomed up to her and said something. And she said that, as she said, like the sensory feeling in virtual reality, if someone's close to you, because you have got the headsets on, it's like they're talking actually into your ear. So she said that shocked her. Another lady said within minutes of chatting, a guy came up and started chatting to them, her and whoever else she was in there, and following them around and saying inappropriate things, and they had to block him. So other women have since described similar experiences. Olsen says she wouldn't describe it as harassment. It was creepy and awkward, but it is being likened to sexual assault. Another article said that.
Is this the same person that they're talking about?
Another woman said
women.
Nina Jane Patel. So the woman called Olsen for Bloomberg said that her experience was creepy and she likened it to sexual assault. Nina Jane Patel, who spoke to the Daily Mail, said she was abused. And again, they're saying likening. She described how a group of male avatars groped her and subjected her to a stream of sexual innuendo, photographed her and sent a message reading, "Don't pretend you didn't love it." I mean, first of all, men, can you not? Like, in the fucking fake world, you still can't control yourself and
everywhere, innit?
Like, what is wrong with you? And we try and say not all men, and lots of men are evolved, but everywhere you go, you do this. Don't pretend you don't love it. That's such a dry, tired line. You should be so evolved past that line, that one fucking line that never changes. But anyway.
It's the writers who are saying likening, right? Yeah. It's not necessarily a direct quote from the person. Right. Do you know what I mean? So it's their interpretation as well.
I guess what everyone's trying to do is be mindful of accusation and actually say it's sexual assault, because they haven't figured it out. And that's the problem. It's like, how do you then figure out virtual behavior? And there's more technology being introduced so you can touch and feel. So when that gets introduced, there's apparently a glove, like you can feel each other's hands and stuff like that. When that gets introduced, what the fuck would happen then? And I think in the metaverse, no one has legs, so they've kind of cut off the lower half of the body, so it's like floating torsos. To kind of avoid that kind of lower action, because that's where I don't even understand. I get the logic, but it's still illogical, because it doesn't. I don't know. But
what's that film? I can't remember. Steven Spielberg film that this is.
iRobot, not iRobot.
No. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Where they go into the virtual world. It's basically that, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talked about this before. But
I can't think of a Steven Spielberg. Maybe it's not Steven.
Yeah,
it's film.
How you police it? They have to. But we're moving.
Yeah, I'm just like I was a bit baffled.
Works is that we're moving faster than we're humans are ready for. So everything's going to be figured out on the go, and people are going to be hurt. And Ready Player One, someone saying, is that
Ready
the one?
Player One? Yep, that's it. Yep, yeah.
Another one I was thinking of.
So there's a scene in that where like sorry,
you're on a lot of mute.
I'm on mute.
Yeah.
No, I can hear you.
No, I'm not mute. You just asked me if I'm on mute.
Who muted their laptop?
You muted.
I was mainly thinking I can clearly hear you. But yeah, did you guys hear about the dick pics? That they're actually going to start issuing sentences out for people sending unsolicited dick pics. So you could get up to 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So that should be coming into force. I think by next year that's going to be a thing.
Oh,
so I was wondering if maybe it would merge in that way. If you do something inappropriate in the metaverse in a similar type of way, then maybe they would criminalize it as well. Because, like, again, dick pics shouldn't. That should be a criminal act. You should be punished for sending somebody a dick pic. Like, in the same way, you can't just flash your dick in real life at somebody as well. Like, then you're a flasher. It's a crime. So I totally understand where dick pics are a crime as well. It was more, how do you physically attack somebody? It was definitely reported this morning more as like a physical attack in the metaverse. And it's like, how do you work that way around?
I think you have to, so she's like in this CMBS TV or something. She's saying, this is Patel. I fumbled the controllers to try to use the safety features, i.e. block and report. But as I was asking them to stop and go away, I realized I needed to end this, as their verbal harassment and sexual innuendos were getting increasingly aggressive. So yeah, I can imagine, like, do you know what I mean? It's just, you would have, but you don't think that you're going to necessarily experience that. You shouldn't have to experience that, right? It's just, even it is like getting a dick pic, isn't it? Like, you're just minding your business. It's like, oh, what the fuck is this? Like, do you know what I mean? You can
I'm kind of not surprised that, though. It's just because
that's terrible, though. That
we haven't fixed that problem with men that think that you can just say anything and just take liberties. It's like, why does it automatically have to go there? Why mind your own business in a virtual space? Why do you have to go to sex? Why? There's so much other things to explore than you just default to sexual nonsense. Like, why? Are you mad?
I guess they're desensitized or something, or just like,
why do you have to, like, it's just said, or the human psyche. Why do you feel that now this is okay? Why? It's mad. It's mad. Have we got any comments on this?
Yes. So Natalie says, it's creepy that these men thought virtual sexual abuse is okay. Makes you think what else they think is okay in the real world. And Candy says, it's depressing that even in a virtual world, you're not safe from sexual harassment. Yeah.
All right. Okay, we must move on. But is there anything else left on what have you heard for the culture that you want to talk about before we move on?
Oh, let's talk Janet Jackson, no?
Okay. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Janet Jackson documentary that aired on Now TV and Sky Documentaries, detailing the superstar's life? I loved it. How did you guys feel about it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Auntie Nan. We did.
But you two can talk about it. It's cool. I've seen clips and everyone's been talking about it. Share it with the people.
What did you think?
I liked it. I did get a bit, like, by episode 3, I was just like, I know this bit. But I think it could have been shorter, but I did like it. And it kind of, like, although I was probably mainly a Michael fan, do you know what I mean? I did like Janet Jackson and I did like her a lot. And it just made me relive that a little bit, like, kind of thing. It was just fun. But I think I was more Michael. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I
was reminded how much of a super fan I was of Janet Jackson, and it I was quite emotional because I think it's been a long time you know, being immersed in Jackson fanhood of either of any of them. And so I haven't watched a documentary about the Jacksons for a time. I haven't really listened to a lot of their music. I mean, a song might pop up, but to be immersed as we were maybe in the 80s, 90s and their time of reign on the pop charts, I haven't really paid any attention to the Jacksons. So revisiting that was wonderful. And really, really, like, Janet Jackson was a real icon to me when I was younger. She really, when talking about back in the day when you used to listen to an album from beginning to end, Rhythm Nation definitely, and her first, and the Control album, definitely listened to them on repeat and was very, very influenced by her. So that, I think I really enjoyed it for that, because it was like a refresher course. And there was stuff that I didn't really know about her, and I was reminded about. But what I felt was lacking, I felt like, because maybe she's been private over the years, I felt like it was Janet Jackson's story about her family and brothers rather than really enough about her and really seeing insight into her personality and stuff. Though you got a bit of her, I felt like it wasn't about her enough. And maybe it's that. Yeah. Maybe I wanted more about her best friends, what she ate for breakfast. You know, more of a day-to-day, what she does on a daytime and on a daily routine. It was very much telling the Jackson story from Janet Jackson's perspective, and that was it. So I still don't feel like I know her, but I still am, like, you know, it made me respect the legacy that woman has and double down on my dislike of Justin Timberlake.
Oh,
culture.
I did think though, with her personality bit, like, so this whole kind of, and I'm not saying you can't be both, but it's just like it was still trying to push this narrative, like, oh, she's so shy. Do you know what I mean? And she's so softly spoken. She's so shy because she gets embarrassed by things. No, Janet, no, you're a big ass woman. Yeah, you talk about nasty stuff. Yeah, like, just relax. Like, it was just like, come on, man, are we still pushing this? But I thought she was good, and I didn't like. I actually didn't like the way they were kind of underliningly suggesting that if Michael didn't catch those cases, that she would have been bigger than Michael. I'm just like, no, like, no, because Michael would have just been bigger. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so you can't really.
So I got more that she just would have been bigger, period. Maybe not bigger than Michael, but just bigger.
No, but that was what she was aiming for, really. It's just like they were going around their houses about saying it. Do you know what I mean?
Between them.
Yeah. So yeah, but what was interesting, and also as well, like, I would have liked them to talk more about her battle with her weight as well, kind of thing, because they kind of just brushed over it. So like, apparently, sorry, spoilers, but like, even Michael used to call her names and stuff and everything, like piggy and cow or something like that, and she was like, oh, he didn't mean it in a bad way, he was just saying it, you know, but those things that she internalized those things and stuff. And I thought that was like a really vulnerable moment. I thought like a lot of people can relate to and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Especially like when you have like loads of brothers and sisters and stuff like that. And you know, but it's just interesting. I think they will always, also the older sister, yeah, like I want to know more about her. Do you know what I mean? I like her perspective. Also, I didn't know that Janet was managed by her brother now, Eva, as well. Like, that was interesting. I wanted to see more of the kid and her decision, how she came to her decision to have her child, how she had a child at 50. I wanted to see that. What was interesting as well, sorry, is Jermaine Dupri. He fumbled the bag.
Jermaine Dupri. It's like, and the thing is, I kind of wanted, you know, the happy fairy tale ending. I kind of want them to get back together because I feel like
really,
if you watch the documentary,
they loved each other.
They were actually in a groove, and he did typical man shit. Typical man shit, and is probably doing again. Living with typical man regret. And I don't know if he's like, nah, bruv, or he's like, yeah, well. And I don't know where it is, but it's like, they fit. They made sense. They didn't make sense visually, possibly. Like, everyone's
that's like, what I'm saying. Like, visually, I am like.
No, but actually, when you see how they spoke about, and the fact that she even let him on the documentary, you know, when you're ex on a documentary, you can't stand them. She actually sang his praises, let him speak. And he basically, it was mad. It was just not personal enough. And you're right, Aunt Shade, there's a glossing over of stuff that I remember in the headlines, because I remember there was a lot about her weight fluctuation. There was a lot about that contributed to her career, and I actually thought she had other things that, like, some albums weren't as successful. So I was actually shocked to know that every album hit top 5 status, because I thought I remember. I don't know
about here though, but in
the maybe that's what I thought. I remembered that there was problems with sales on certain albums, so then it didn't. But the fact that she's consecutively, and she's still got there's a record that she's still holding. I think biggest first time concert performer or something. She still holds that record. So she actually did beyond what I actually thought she did. It just wasn't, and it didn't. I guess she's always private, but it didn't need to be intrusive. But I just didn't get Janet. I got Janet telling a story of the Jackson story.
Right. This is what I'm saying, and like sticking to their narrative. Like I want her to talk about plastic surgery. I want her to talk about like why did her and Michael both get their noses done? Like what the hell was that about? Like I want to know that story. I just thought there was just so much left out as well. There was another. I wanted more from Mariah. Like Mariah Carey just said one bit. Like, do you know what I mean? I wanted to know more what Mariah was saying, because her thing was like, you know, Janet was the girl, almost like the girl that she wanted to be, because she could just almost do what she wants. And I didn't realize as well that at that second album, that's when she fired her dad. Do you know what I mean? So from the second album, that's Janet. Like that's freaking amazing. But you didn't, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know if she how much she wrote though, or how much she like played instruments and stuff and everything like that. So like it was nice seeing, and also they had a clip of her and Michael working on Scream. That was just beautiful. That was amazing. Yeah.
So basically her husband, her fiance, longtime fiance Rene, which I forgot. I totally forgot about him. And
she married him. That was her husband.
She did marry him. I forgot how long they were together. I forgot how influential. I forgot he was the hands over the Janet album. I forgot so much. That was a nice memory. But he'd basically been filming her from the time they've got together. So there's some unseen footage, and there's probably more, because you know, like that time when they were recording Scream in the recording studio.
Yeah.
And the room was dark. I wanted to know, did Michael ask for the room to be dark? I wanted to know more, like why. Obviously, we know why, the genius at work, but like that was something to be said.
Yeah.
At that time, recording was very difficult, because probably Michael was desperate for his life. What that wasn't said was Michael was in some shit. He needed something big, and he needed his sister, who was big, one of the biggest stars at the time, to save him from this bad reputation. There were so many unsaid things, but I mean, it's watchable. Guys, go watch it.
Yeah, she hinted at that, and they all stuck beside him as well. The family stuck beside him and stuff. And then also as well, I got the feeling, this is just my opinion, I got the feeling that she also struggled with addiction, but she didn't talk about that. Like she talked about like her partner. She had multiple partners that struggled with addiction, like painkillers and things like that and stuff like that. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if she had also. That is just my opinion. There's no.
I kept thinking it was going to go there, but then it never did. So I understand what the holes, the gaps in the story that that they unfortunately left us to fill in. It made me think it was going to go there, and she was going to say "and me," but she never did, and it was never said. It was all on her partners that she met and she was with, and she struggles with controlling men because of her dad. That's But
I thought that was quite like interesting. Like she was just like, oh, you know, maybe next time I won't get someone who's a drug addict. I just thought she was making but you know, she speaks in that little baby voice as well. I was like, no, she's funny. She's actually quite funny.
I like her. I'm glad I got to see her. All right, so we can involve Auntie Anna. Give me, and you're going to say you don't even like one song. What's the Janet Jackson song that you love? I knew it. Look at her face.
I can't even remember what it's called, but I loved the video. It may be That's the Way Love Goes. That's the way love goes. That's the way love. Yeah, I like that song.
Okay, cool. You've actually got a song you love. Auntie Sade.
I wouldn't say love. Let's use it loosely. It's a song I know, and I will bop to it if it gets played.
See, that's the thing. So you're gonna figure me.
You don't love us.
Well, no, I know some songs, but like you see, like the first album, I don't think I've ever heard it all. I don't think so.
Or the very first one, or Control.
The first one, Control. Which one's Rhythm Nation? Rhythm Nation's actual album.
Oh, I like Rhythm Nation.
Okay, Rhythm Nation, I like that. And I remember doing a dance routine with my sisters and my friend with that kind of thing. So yeah, that was cool. And I really like All For You as well. Like
that's
I think
that's a tune. I like that one.
Yeah, but that was like a comeback. You know, do you know what I mean? And at that point, I don't know how old I was. I'd have to work it out. But I really saw her as like, oh, she's for old, you know, she's like a mature artist. At that point, I did. Seriously.
Okay. No, I hear what you're saying. It's like we were teenagers then. It was I liked it for the eclectic style that the video was done in, but
like the background or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think, oh, this is for us.
No, I didn't know. I just thought like
which album you thought wasn't for us?
No, All For You. I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's like that was Mine. I got to know because the Control album is my album. I listen to that on repeat, and Rhythm Nation as well.
So Anytime, Any Place.
Anytime, Any Place is my tune. Let's Wait a While. When I Think of You, Pleasure Principle, pretty much the Control album, Rhythm Nation, Living in a World They Did Not Make. That tune is my tune. I used to love Black Cat because it was rocky. I used to like rock music as well. And Anytime, Any Place, and At Night. I was going to sing Bootown. What's the one? I Get So Lonely. That's it. I Get So Lonely.
Oh, I Get So Lonely. No, that's a tune.
Yeah, that's a tune.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually really like When I Think of You. Actually, I love that song. I've got it on a playlist.
How does When I Think of You go?
Baby, nothing else matters.
Oh, I actually hate that song.
Oh my god!
I hate it. I think about it at every party.
I love it. When I Think of You.
I hate that song. Similar to Daz Band.
What? Outstanding.
No, the Stars one.
What Stars? Oh, Stars. You are my star.
Please, no, I hate it like that.
I get that. You know what that tune's like? No, you know what it is? That reminds me of black clubs with a typical black soundtrack where you're gonna have that. You get Just In Case, then you're gonna get Wifey, those particular tunes. That's where it's
like they all come one after the other. That song makes me cringe. Yes, that song too. Please don't.
The shackles on.
When the beat drops, oh, mate.
If I'm drunk enough, I will join in and I will go woo. But generally, in my heart of hearts, I am like, this is shit, and see me out of here.
But you know what? And I hate that Candy's in that category, but I love Candy.
Oh, I hate Candy so
much. No, Candy's a bad boy tune.
No, it's not.
No, listen.
I hate it. No, I hate it. I roll my eyes every single time. I remember one time I even had a birthday and like I told the DJ, do not play that song, play the fucking song. What's wrong with you? Like I was so upset.
I hate that people hate because people have ruined it. It's an actual genius, musically, lyrically, fantastic song.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like it. I don't like. I think it's lazy.
No, it's not. It's DJs are lazy. DJs have made it a lazy choice. It's actually a bad boy tune. I'm so glad. Thank you, Beyonce, for doing the remix. I love it. Thank you. She knows. She knows the bad boy tune. Beyonce.
Oh, sorry.
Somebody else I hate Candy as well.
Thank you.
Candy, hand me my polish. I just gave you a compliment.
Thank you. We need to form a group.
You know what? You lot are lying. You actually don't hate Candy. It's because it's been rinsed. You do not hate Candy.
No, I do. I know my mind. I do. I hate it.
You didn't hate it before it started being played.
No. I hate it.
What's the next one?
Yeah.
Or are we on to?
Oh, God.
Dilemmas?
What are we doing now? Sorry. Dilemmas. Aunties know best. Actually, wait. Auntie Nana, you just tried to rush me when I was in my candy heaven. Don't do that.
Because it's actually been spoken about that part for 5 minutes.
Doesn't matter. I was going to sing Candy, the whole tune to the ad. Ow. Big up Cameo and Larry Blackman. Bow, bow. Okay, if you're just tuning in, this is Your Aunties Could Never, a podcast for cool aunties and uncles everywhere, where you get no nonsense, straight talk from 4 cool aunties who aren't afraid to say all the things you wish you could say. If you don't listen to the show, if you do listen to the show, my bad, please don't forget to write your reviews, your positive reviews on Apple Podcasts and rate us on Spotify, please. Now it is time for Aunties Know Best.
Aunties know best.
Aunties know best. This is where you get your favorite aunties solving your problems. Now, guys, you might have seen on our socials that we were supposed to have some guests tonight, Ben and Chidi, relationship experts, but unfortunately they couldn't join us. So we're going to go back to our regular programming, and you'll get more of us. That's it. That's just the benefit of that. But hopefully we'll get them on a later show. So this is Aunties Know Best, where we just get into your problems and solve your problems. Please share your problems in the comments, and we got some stuff that we're going to get off the chest. Because we thought we had guests, I didn't come with a problem to solve. So I go to my favorite place, Dear Prudence. It's a website it's a column on slate.com, just so no one tells me that we're stealing problems. There's a few things here. Help, my girlfriend wants to break up with me for being a mansplainer. Help, my boyfriend encourages me like I'm a child and I like it. Help, my boyfriend calls me fat when we fight. Help, my husband doesn't want us to get pregnant unless I leave my job. Which one of those sounds fun?
Mansplainer and the fat one, please.
Okay, let's go. Let me see. I haven't read these. I haven't censored them. Thank you very much, Dear Prudence. It looks like she's a black woman on slate.com. So let me find it. My girlfriend wants to break up with me before being a mansplainer. I'm a 28-year-old guy who is dating a woman who is about 6 years older than I am. We've been together for about 10 months. A few weeks after meeting and going on several dates, when it looked like things might stick, I guess, she had a talk with me. She said that she wasn't sure I realized it, but I often interrupted her. She said that I hadn't seemed to notice when she'd gently redirected the conversation back to what she'd been saying and had never apologized. It was almost apparently enough for her not to go out with me again, but she thought I was otherwise nice and cute and got the feeling I wasn't doing it on purpose. So she thought she'd see if a talk would help. I've been trying harder and I think it's going well. When I do interrupt Melissa, Melissa will now fairly bluntly point it out now, and I know when to apologize and be conscious of my speaking. Oh my God, it's a long letter. I'm going to try and cut some bit out. Recently, we had another conversation. She opened up about feeling that I come across arrogant when I speak, and I've mansplained her a number of times. They went to see a play. I don't know. This is going on very long. She basically, what he's saying is that they went to see a play. Melissa was surprised that when she said she was a theatre major. Oh God, I don't know what this is. Hold on one second. Basically, she said something about COVID, and he said, well, I guess this isn't some college play. It's real theatre. Of course, it's going to take longer. Melissa stood up and left the theatre. I was shocked and followed her out. She said she needed space. The next time she talked, she said she was offended and reminded me about his mansplaining thing. And now he's wondering, did I say something rude, or is it now she's being overly sensitive? So I think now she's exposed. She's told him she did the right thing by saying, listen, babe, this hurts me when you do that. I don't like it. He's done the right thing by trying to adjust his settings. But now it's got to the point where maybe she's over pointing it out, and maybe he's now feeling like man's just trying to be a man, get me, and I can't be me. What do you guys think? I tried to truncate this very long letter.
They don't sound compatible.
Okay.
Overall, it just sounds like he may feel that she isn't that smart, and so he has to keep on clarifying things when she says something, and she is feeling you don't think I'm that smart, so you keep on explaining shit to me just when I have an opinion. They're just not compatible. So like, he shouldn't. Maybe somebody else he's going to have a bit more respect for, and he's not going to feel that I always need to teach them something. It also may be his personality. Somebody will always want to be taught. You just haven't found that person yet. It's not her, and she should also like just ditch him. He sounds dry as hell, and to somebody else, he may be the most exciting person because he knows everything. They're just not compatible.
Auntie Sade.
I think that if someone has told you that you're mansplaining, you're not going to change your ways overnight. It's going to take more than a few months for you to actually change your actual behavior, because the whole of society is geared up to make you feel better about yourself. So, just check yourself, because it's easy to say, well, yeah, I heard you, and I'm trying, so I can't be doing that in this moment. No, you could definitely be doing it again and again and again, because that's what you're used to. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't think she should be with someone that does that. That's just, it's not your job to fix someone. Maybe he needs to go away, give it a year or so, kind of thing. Then maybe see if it's possible afterwards. But hopefully you've moved on and found someone else that doesn't do this.
I think you should have stopped at, maybe you should go away. Not free and come back. I think you can't be in this relationship anymore, because it's now a thing. It's become a thing. And as a man, you might have all the best intentions, but you're watching yourself and it's irritating you. She is like, oh, thank God he's changed, but no, he's not. He's still doing it. It is actually him. Guys, this is him. This is him. And he's allowed to be who he is. And she's allowed to be absolutely annoyed with the fuck he's doing. And if it's not something that he feels he can adjust and learn, there is this, Auntie Nana's right. There's someone out there that might actually love having every detail of their life explained back to them, because they, it might be something that someone's attracted to. They might like that. Or he needs to go away and do some work on himself and actually think about, you know what, why do I feel the need to tell everybody something that I think that they should know? And she might also be super sensitive to something, and that might be something within her, and it might be that he's not actually mansplaining, and because she has insecurities about herself, she might be over reading into things. It could be that. So if there's a chance that he's cute, he's funny, and he does all the other things right, maybe the woman could do some work on herself. But the easiest thing possibly is that you guys don't match. And that's that, to be honest. All right, the next one.
I think, I think some just really, I don't think it's about them necessarily explaining stuff. I think they just like the sound of their own voice, to be honest.
Could be that.
Sometimes it's like, what the fuck? Like,
it could be that, but it could be like, I mean, I don't know when have you guys been mansplained to and you're like, oh yeah, for real? Have you ever?
No, because then that's not mansplaining. That's just explaining. Mansplaining is just putting
but like,
you know what I mean? Like, it's not a helpful, it's not ever a helpful thing.
Yeah, it's true.
So like mansplaining is literally, what
you already know
on, but they carry on trying to re-explain it to you.
Yeah, because you didn't say it properly how they think they wanted you to say it.
You might not even have to say anything. They're just explaining it. Like, why?
And no one asked you to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I always think mansplaining comes with a tone as well. Like, I hear a really goofy tone. I think it's Auntie Nana's goofy man voice. I hear.
Yeah.
I've done that voice for a while.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, that's just jarring, isn't it? I'm trying to think of the last time that happened. It's more of a, generally when when somebody's done it to me, it's like, you never listen. And I've told you this. And then they go into the thing and it's like, no, I heard you. I just chose not to listen to you.
Yeah.
It was a conscious decision. Like, whatever you would advise, I'm not going to do. It wasn't that I didn't hear you. It's I chose not to do it. It's generally that type of thing. But I would say that I probably get that from men and women, because I don't like to hear. So explaining something again, and I've decided, oh no, I'm not doing that, and re-explaining it isn't. It's going to work. You're just going to argue. It's not going to go the right way.
And then the thing in that is the confidence that the person's like, if I say it, you're going to listen. So if you don't, like, how can you not listen to me?
Like, no.
Or it's like, in a work scenario, right? It's like, you're in a mixed group and something's being explained, or you're explaining something, and because he's a man, he has to re-explain.
Oh,
it's very specific to men speaking for women. You know what I mean?
It's like a translator. That happens quite a lot. Like your voice wasn't able to convey that, and then the booming voice comes in. And so what she was trying to say is that it was said. There wasn't a trying to about it. It was said, and most people have understood.
It's infantilizing us as well. You know that thing. You know, little woman, you can't cope.
I haven't really experienced that in a very long time, but like I think that in maybe non-Western countries, it's more of a problem, right? So when you know you might be with some men and stuff like that, and there's men talking, it's like you're saying something, but they're literally not listening to you until the man says exactly the same thing. Like it's just like I remember going to a trip to Nigeria, and I had 2 members of staff with me, 1 male, 1 female, and they would literally like it would be almost like they're doing the movements like they're listening to me, but until the guy said something, that's when they were act. It was insane. It was just insane. Like I just mate, it was a lot. It was actually a lot.
Let's get the comments.
So Neodate, infuriating. He says, but also, if someone gives advice and you don't take it, don't go back to that person still complaining.
That's true.
That's true.
I agree.
That's true. That's true. All right. And on the socials, on IG, Don Dobby says, mansplaining is a verbal condescending pat on the head. It really is.
That literally is it. They're
there, little lady. You've had your time. Okay, let me speak for you. All right, let's go. Help. My boyfriend calls me fat when we fight. He claims he doesn't mean it, but I'm not so sure. So, dear Prudence, my boyfriend calls me fat when we get into arguments. He knows I struggle with my weight and the way I see myself. Most of the time, he tells me I'm sexy and not to get down on myself, and he still wants to sleep with me all the time. It's not like he's embarrassed by me. I know all his friends and family. We go on dates, vacations, and to parties. So I don't understand why he calls me fat. He says he's saying it to hurt me at the moment, but I don't know how he truly feels. What should I do next time he does this? Quickly, I would answer, pump him in his face, but that's not correct. Auntie Sade, what should she do?
Leave him. That's not a relationship. It's toxic. That's basically very toxic. Like he's telling you that he does it to hurt you. He's told you. So why are you trying to find a reason of why he does it? He's told you exactly why he does it, and he does it every time you argue. So he wants to hurt you in the argument and make you feel bad about yourself. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you don't need to be you babe. Like just find someone else that actually loves you for you, man.
Auntie Nano.
I mean, it is a simple one. I shouldn't laugh at it, but it was like, I don't know how he feels. He actually has explained why he calls you fat to hurt your feelings. There's no. Can you deal with it? If you can, then you stay there. If you can't deal with it, then you leave. I think it's very simple things. Like you can, cussing is cussing, isn't it? I don't really agree with like taking the mick out of somebody when you're having an argument with them anyway. I think it's a toxic trait, but we're only getting one side of it. And she may say and you with your small dick, or you with your big head or your bald head, or she could cuss him too. So it may be a two-way. This is how when they're arguing they communicate, but she's come along and she's feeling hurt by him saying that she's fat. Join the fat movement. Just be like, I'm fat and what? Like, turn it around. This doesn't have to be a negative. There are people that embrace being called fat. They say it's fine. You can call me fat. I'm fat. It's like it doesn't have to be a slur.
But he's literally told her, I say it to hurt you.
He wanted more reasons. I'm just giving her more things for her mind to churn over. She wanted more.
No, but I'm just saying, I can't give her advice. I can't even make a positive because like man said it on, I want to hurt you. I mean, or is he being very, very literal? Like, so we cuss each other, we're arguing. Obviously, I'm going to go for the jugular. Man up. Is it that? Is he doing that? And then maybe she needs to man up then. Maybe, yeah, you're right. Maybe she needs to like, you know what? Man's doing it to hurt you. Obviously, he loves you. Obviously, he celebrates you. But he's going to go for the jugular knowing that's your weakness. That's not the kind of relationship I want to be in. But some people like that tough love type shit. If it works for you, then yeah, man up. But other than that, this is not cool. This is not nice. No.
Yeah, I think
no.
I don't think I agree. I don't think you should. I think it's really unhealthy to do name calling. I think in general, though, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just like your partners, like your friends and stuff like that. Like, I don't like any of that shit. Like, don't call me names because you're angry. Like, no, that's
never. Yeah, it's never a good line to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a comment. I've got one I quickly want to do because it's kind of like this, similarly to this. Actually, no, let me do this quickly. Help! I'm way less hot than the guy I'm dating, and people can't handle it. Basically, this woman has started the dating scene, re-entered the dating scene. She's met a guy. He's 3 years older than her. Met a few months after chatting with friends. He asked her out. She rejected him because she thought they were friends. Now they're going out with each other, and it's got serious. She's very happy. He makes her feel wonderful. Definitely marriage material. Doesn't play games. But her issue is that he's a 10 and she's a 4 or 5. And he says, and she says, wait, let me finish. And she says, I see the looks people give us when we go out. He's with her. I've never been particularly sensitive to what others think about me, but every time we go out, I see that same look from men, from women. It doesn't matter. They all look like they've been electrocuted. The minute he puts his arm around me or holds my hand, the same look of shock appears on people's faces. It's taking a toll on my self-esteem. I've definitely seen that look from all of his friends. I wonder what they said to him privately. His exes were very beautiful. I know I need to lose weight, blah, 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 blah. I find it hard. How do I turn this thought process around that I don't see people looking surprised that this unicorn is with an ugly duckling like myself?
Babe, well, first of all, like you can't be referring to yourself as an ugly duckling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you just no. Like, I mean, if this like, you know what, right? There is a conventional standard of beauty, like in whatever society that you're in. So yeah, we kind of accept that and play to that. But like, it doesn't mean that you can't find beauty in different ways. Do you know what I mean? Or like you just, it really literally is in the eye of the beholder. So I think it's just a lot of therapy work probably, and kind of get to the root cause of like why you call yourself these things, and you're unable to see what other people see. This man clearly sees, or your partner clearly sees, something that you can't see in yourself. So it's like trying to do the work to see that, to kind of get that to that place yourself, really. And then, you know, not worrying about what other people think, like just tapping back to that. Just because you're with someone else now and you're getting attention as a couple, if you didn't care about what people thought before, you shouldn't really care about what they think now. It should be as meaningless, right? That's their issue. That's their stuff. It's got nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Auntie Nana.
I'm finding this one hard because I have seen a couple of couples who I could see fit into what she's describing, where the guy is like quite good looking all the other way around, and then you look at the one that's just coming into my mind, and I feel like I've done that stare at them before, because I literally am like, the girl is stunning and the dude looks like a serial killer, and I'm always and his personality isn't. So, you know, it's like usually one thing you can see it, like when they're together, you're like, no, but he is a joker. So you know what the attraction base is, but it's also absolutely zero. It's none of my business whatsoever. But it just made me think, oh, for the other partner who probably has noticed all of these looks whenever they're around, that would be quite hard on him. And I hadn't really thought about it. So I'm struggling with the advice point, because it was a bit like, oh shit, you've been that person that she's describing that has looked and been like, how are they together? But everything Auntie Sade said, it's like it's none of my business. I've looked, I don't know, I'm not with them. He could be great when they're at home, but just socially, he's a bit awkward. So, you know, I don't know what to say other than, yeah, ignore everybody else. That's just, people's opinions are none of your business. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. I guess it's really hard. I would hate to be in that position where, I mean, I don't want to undermine your feelings or reactions, but sometimes when you are in that space, you see things in a way that's things aren't actually happening. It's not actually that deep, and people aren't looking or recoiling at the sight of you. That seems very, because the fact that you're saying that people are recoiling like they're electrocuted, one, those people are damn rude. If they're actually showing this kind of reaction, the fact that you're noticing it, that's not very nice. That's on them to manage themselves, because it's not their business. But sometimes when you're in that space and you're feeling negative about yourself, everything is heightened and and so you see things a lot worse and are magnified. So maybe it could be, you don't know what that, and not to undermine, not to patronize you, but you don't necessarily know it is absolute shock. Could be actually go girl. It might be celebration, like, you know what, good on you, and all that type of stuff. And you just don't know what it is. Could be they're looking at him thinking, you don't deserve her. I don't know. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And for you, a lot of times people do talk themselves down when they feel they don't fit the beauty standards of society. So you might be viewing yourself as a 4 and a 5, but actually you're not. If we're going to do it in numbers, as basic as numbers, and you might actually be on a level to this guy. And the fact that this man is marriage material and your ideal of perfect, why the hell do you care? He loves you, and your insecurities could potentially jeopardize that. And it's not to say would be as fickle, but if your insecurities get in the way of seeing your beauty, unfortunately, society doesn't like people who are vulnerable and weak and insecure about themselves. And if you don't work on those things, you could push them away, because you then could start to pick up things and cause dissent with it or disturbances in the relationship because of your insecurities that he's not seeing, he's not putting out there. But the more you pick on those things, you might project that, and then he's going to start feeling some type of way. And then that, if he does end up leaving you, or for whatever reason that he can't take the situation, you're going to add that to your own lot of life and say, well, look, here you go, he didn't like me anyway. So all that stuff, you need to work on yourself. Definitely ignore the people that are acting shocked, and maybe really assess, are they acting shocked? And talk to your partner about it, and just maybe get some reassurance and conversation with him. Maybe, I don't know if you're talking to him about it either.
I was thinking, like, I think I've been here when I didn't really think much of myself, I guess, like, and I think I was trying to think, like, how did I get out of that? And I think I had a very good friend. He basically was just like, well, you're dating that, you're dating them, so what does that say about you? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, what that it's also a reflection of you. That's the way she kind of positioned it. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I think I was a bit caught up with, like, I don't know. I just didn't think I was like pretty or cute or any of those things, like, when I was younger. So I was just like, I'll get these guys that everybody liked. And it was just like, I don't know how I'm doing this. Like, it's a fluke? Do you know what I mean? Or is it some sort of joke or whatever? Like, I was really, like, super paranoid. And yeah, it just took a little time. Just like, no, actually, no, I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? Like, just getting that. I think it was a bit of validation. I can't say it wasn't. But yeah, it was hard though. I do get it. It is actually a bit tougher than when you first look at it. It's just because you have to really quiet those voices in your head. Really, you have to quiet that doubt in your mind that person doesn't, that it's the belief, isn't it? It's the belief that person can see something in you that you can't see in yourself, and that the only person that can really change that is yourself.
Yes, I agree. Any comments?
Okay. Okay, so Neil Darte says, he calls you fat because you are, and he knows it will hurt. If you don't address it either directly or through therapy, you will be in the never-ending cycle. And he also says, I want to know what couple Auntie Nana is talking about. Mind your business.
Why are you going to cause trouble, Uncle Nee?
Exactly.
All right, so look, I don't know if you guys, there's Aunties, I don't know, I'm stuck now. Aunties Go Deep. And there's two things I wanted to talk about. There's a dating show that started on BET. I don't know, what's it actually called?
I think it's called Dating While Black, or Dating Black.
Dating Black. Well, we haven't all watched it, so similarly to the Janet Jackson documentary, I don't know if we can go into it. I do think it's something we should talk about, because maybe we could write in next week's show and go deep on it. But it is. Oh no, I've done it again, haven't I? I know you're on mute.
No, has anyone watched? Nana, did you watch it?
Yeah. Me and AK have watched it.
Oh, you two watched it. I didn't know you had watched it. Sorry, I haven't watched it. So yeah, okay, we can talk about it then. Cool. You didn't say you watched it.
Oh, I did.
When?
Oh, I didn't say. I thought I did, but I didn't say so. But I thought I said in the group earlier. We said we were watching it. My bad. Sorry, but yeah, there was that, and then we also wanted to have a conversation about sex. But I think we might save that sex talk for next week.
Okay.
How do you feel, Aunties?
When Auntie Farah is back with us,
yeah, we can go into it deeper.
And one of our late nights, I think that would work.
Okay. See, we're working with you guys.
I've got some questions though from when I watched it, so I think it's a pretty generic type of show.
Okay.
But it's a good watch, so everybody definitely go on to BET International. It's on their YouTube page.
Who's in it?
You know what? It's like there's so many influencers in it. It's probably, what would you say, AK? Like they're maybe like 10, 15 years younger than us? 20s,
it's the
30s.
I actually have the press release. I didn't have it to hand because I didn't have it to hand. I forgot we're going to talk about it. But sorry, my bad.
There's so many influencers, but I'm really bad with younger influencers.
Sorry, the creator of it, basically her whole thing is that she really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of speaking about dating in this generation. I think they're in their like late 20s, early 30s. I definitely know there's Christine from Vamp, who's in the conversation, Vamp PR, and I will get the rest of the names as soon as whilst Nana is explaining the story.
So for the guys, there's the whole cast of the 90s Babies podcast.
Okay.
They're in there. And then there's another kind of male podcasting team that's in there as well. Mm-hmm. And it's really, they're all being like questioned and asked about their dating histories. What I found quite interesting, so 2 episodes are out so far. Episode 1 was the female kind of influencers and podcasters, and they're answering questions. Mm-hmm. Most of them were single. Episode 2 is the guys. Most of them are in relationships. And it just seemed very indicative to, well, my sights on society. And I just know so many single women as opposed to single men. There's so few of them that I know. It just seemed to be reflected in that. But I'm hoping there's going to be 8 episodes. I'm hoping she kind of delves into that as well as to why there seems to be this gap between the two. But it's an interesting one.
I think she's named Tanya Mack. I think she's the host or the presenter. And yeah, that's there isn't enough clear information, which I really hate BET for doing that. They don't put out enough information. BET International, please put more detail around your show so we can celebrate them and big you up for doing quite a good show. It's a really good show. I agree.
I wanted to pull out a couple of bits from today's uploaded episode today, because it's the guys and they had a few pieces of advice for women. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on this and what you think about it. So one man said that dating is a man's game because the bar is so low in women's estimation of men. Like they'll say things like men are trash. If you are a little bit sane, you easily get put in the top 20% of men. What do you guys feel about that? Is the dating bar like, is it generally you go into something and it's like men are shit, and if they can talk a little bit, have a little bit going for them, do they instantly go up quite a few notches?
I think generally that's been the case. I don't know about individually and personally, but I don't think I've ever consciously been like, oh, he brushes his teeth and he's eloquent, so you know what? He gets a gold star just because it's so wild out there. I haven't compromised in that way, but it's definitely, I think in my dating history, I have allowed, I've forgiven flaws and probably red flags because some of the better stuff outweighs it a little bit. And in hindsight, at this place that I am in my life today, the red flags would have been prominent, and I would never put them behind the kind of fluffy stuff. And usually that stuff is around attraction and lust and that type of thing, rather than actual, is this person really a person good? A guy good for me. So I definitely think I've forgiven things, but is it because the bar's low? Yeah.
I think I'm inclined to agree. I think yeah, the bar is so low that what is seen as what is basic is seen as like, my God, he's such a good man. No, he's just a normal human being, and this is how they're supposed to act. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always say, and I'm definitely not like like I like men in general, but like I just think a lot of them are just not good people. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just not good people in general. Like they don't treat the people the heterosexual ones don't treat women well. That's the thing. They're just not good people to women. And like, I'm not saying there's not good men out there. There are, but like, not mediocre either. Like there's just, oh mate, it's just a lot. I just think it's a bit dire, really. And it's like, I'm trying to think of an example of something like really basic that is
it's like if he calls you back, if he takes you out, like the basic is the normal
like you have to be like, it's like you're expected to be like excited over grateful. Like grateful. Yes, it's grateful, isn't it? Like, yeah, well, at least he's only got one child and he called you back, like kind of thing. Or at least he works, or at least he, at least he's not trying to, sell CDs or like be a rapper. Like, it's just like basic.
The other piece of advice that was given to ladies was, you need to not be so picky and chill out on your requirements.
The thing is, I think we've talked about this before. Sometimes, yes, the list can be long, but because women have been faced with so much nonsense, the list is long. And then it sounds like a petty list of like unachievable achievements, but it's just like
long because there's basic stuff on the list, because there's
basic stuff I'm trying to say.
Like, is kind. Now you ask him for kindness. Kindness should be standard. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, now we have to specify, tells the truth. Do you know what I mean? Like,
doesn't want to. It's and that's where you have the people like Kevin Samuels thriving on telling women basic rude about the requirements and shutting them down and making them feel like, how dare you aspire for a guy who's a 10 and you're a 6. And it's all that type of shit. It's really bad. But I do think, yes, that also that they mentioned the social media brainwashing of generations is real. No matter how much we feel we're not susceptible to it, we are susceptible, I should say. However, that kind of surface, I'm a man that can do this, like I want a man that can do that. That's a very small pocket of women, I think, that actually believe in that. The average common sense woman isn't talking about Birkins and Beamers and ballers. The average woman just wants, as Auntie Charlotte said, a man not to lie, not to lead with his dick, and not to disrespect me, not to just ask about my day, all that type of stuff. Just simple, normal things, and not have to worry. Because I think in the women's episode, when they were asked how we just describe dating, they were like chaotic, pilgrimage.
Yeah.
All these words.
The words were deep. Complicated.
And
chaos.
young, man.
And it's like, you can't, and chaotic. Like, why? Because you're dating someone.
Okay, so how would you two describe dating? What word would you use?
Chaotic, ghetto, journey, pilgrimage. I'm not dating that like that. I do you know what? I was inspired by a few people for some reason dating apps have come up in the conversation. So there's a few people that have been inspiring me. So I ain't gonna lie, I downloaded it last night.
Oh, is it? How I'm so excited.
No.
I know. I try and hold it back, but I can't help it.
Hold it back because this will make me delete it because of
I know. No. Is it?
No, listen. No, so but in my moment of download, I was like, do I want to go into this mess? Like, am I in the mood? I've got shit going on in my business world. I've got shit to do, and I don't. And again, I've never been that woman. Like, I've got to get a job. I'm an independent woman. I'm not that type of woman. I am independent, but not in the whole sense that it's been remixed to be a negative thing. I am an independent woman. But my thing is, my business is causing me stress. So I don't need the added stress of meeting someone. We fall in what I think is love. And next minute, like I always reference, the last significant person had a whole family and telling me that he loved me. Like, why do I need to put myself with that? Yes, I'd like to have a regular partner that I can feed off of, live off of, enjoy off of, all that off of, and life off of. However, I would rather be single and have that emotional button not stressed out than dealing with things. So I'm going to take a foray into that space, but I'm going to be very, very mindful. So I don't even know what the question was. Yes, it's chaos.
The question was what word?
Auntie Sade.
Okay, so I think it's the ghetto. I definitely think it's ghetto. And it's not on brand for me. And I have an example. I have a quick example to say, okay, right? So this is dating. So you can't just ask a guy, if you're heterosexual, like, do you have a girlfriend? You have to ask them, is there anyone out there, whether you knowingly know, that thinks that you are their man? That's what you have to ask. To cover all bases. That is dating. That is dating at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just so complicated. I feel, I just like, personally, I just don't have the time, patience, energy for it, really. I admire people who are still, interested and still kind of still trying to push forward and still believe in this idea of love. I just don't. I really don't anymore. Like,
so you're on the spectrum of, okay, if I don't meet anybody in this lifetime, it's cool.
I would say I'm kind of in that space, because the thing is, I think that life is like, I've lived, I really have, and it's just like, I just think I've had like really like I've had like really significant moments. Do you know what I mean? And I think that people don't necessarily value those things, right? Unless they have like this almost media constructed like version of love, then they feel like, oh, their lives are not adequate. They haven't kind of met that goal, or they tick that box of like, whether that's having, like being in a relationship for 20 years, or whether it's just getting married, or do you know what I mean? Like, and until they tick those kind of boxes in that sense, it's like it's almost like they're trashing everything that they've had before. And it's just, no, actually, you kind of have to see moments for what they are. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, there's something about being present in there and really enjoying it, and knowing that, they don't always last forever, and that's okay. That's actually okay. And I think a lot of people, probably more males than females, I'm going to say that specifically in the heterosexual world, need to like work on being by themselves, like actually being by themselves, actually understanding, do you like you? Because if you don't like you, there is no way you should be asking anyone else to like you. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be pressuring anyone at all to like you at all.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's two different things, though.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying
it's that like holistic thing of, okay, I am totally okay with, but like, you're probably going to be here for another 60 years. in our lifespans, like, you know, for how long they say our generation is probably going to live, it's like our average is probably going to be 90 to 100 years. So that's a long time to be like, actually, I could do this without a companion. But I'm sure there are loads of people that would be like, actually, I'll be fine with family and friends. Like, I don't need that significant other. That's what I'm getting from you. That's why I was asking. Like, are you like more on that thing of, oh, if the person never comes, they don't come. It's cool.
I don't know if I've finalized that. Do you know what I mean? I'm just living my life, but what I'm not going to do is engage in ghetto behavior. And the dating scene right now is ghetto. Like, this is the thing. It's just like, you know, when you like go home to family and stuff, and like you get loads of pressure from like even older than us, like uncles and aunties, like where's our relationships and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, have you seen what's out there? Have you seen what they want us to settle for? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just too much. It's too much. I don't like it.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
It's interesting because, like I said, in downloading the app, I was like, do I really want to go into this? And I'm one of those people that feel like I haven't achieved that not perfect, or a significant relationship that I can feel like, yeah, that was a good one. And even though it didn't last, or it did last, whatever, but if it didn't last, it was worth it. And there was really great memories. I don't think, because I think when I had my daughter, I was literally focused on her, and I was insecure at 23, and then having a daughter and having to deal with being a single mum and figuring out a career and education, all that type of stuff. I got very focused on trying to do that. And I hadn't, there's another level of understanding who you are when you've got a child to look after as well. And so I made silly decisions when it came to guys, where maybe if it was by myself, I would have been a lot more self-realized and would have made better decisions. But whilst trying to do it with the child, and also being very conscious that I didn't want any man around my child unless they were significant. So a lot of relations were in the dark, in quotes. And so maybe I accepted things just for the sake of it. So I don't know. I've always been like, I've not had that significant relationship that I really feel like was worth it. So I've always been like, yeah, I need to have that relationship. But like I said, downloading the app, I kind of felt like, do I want this? And actually, do I actually want a man in my life at the moment? I don't think I do. The only thing that makes me feel like I wouldn't say never ever is because there's a reality. I think I referenced my mum before. Her and her friends who are single, there's a loneliness around them, which, as much as they're on the phone with each other, and then, you know, you had COVID and stuff like that, that was a deeper separation. And, you know, the ailments and things that plague them, where they got hit, knee, back, this, that. So traveling isn't as easy, and getting together isn't as easy when you can't rely on your friendship circle, especially because for whatever reason, and you have done to death yourself, like, you know yourself and you're bored of yourself essentially, and you've got all those creature comforts that, and the thing that's missing is possibly someone else that you can be that close and intimate, that's in your space with you, enjoying the last years of your life. That's the part that makes me concerned, that when I get to that point and I don't have someone, will I regret a decision by saying, oh no, I don't want a partner in my life, kind of thing. So that's the part where I'm not sure, and then that's the part like, I want to work towards having a partner, but then there's a reality of your partner passing before, or, you know what I mean, like that, and that's a thing, you know. And I kind of have that, and it was
just a morbid turn it took. It was like, all right,
you know, I know, but it's the reality of that as well. Like, you work so hard, you get to that point, and then the passing part, you got, I don't know. I don't want to be alone.
Farah is here.
Auntie Farah!
Are you literally on a beach?
I am. Yeah, basically.
Oh my God. Auntie Farah.
Nice film, isn't it?
Oh,
amazing.
Oh, missing you.
Do you know what? I miss you lot too. And like, it's been mad. It's been like a real strange time. That's all I can say. It's been really, really difficult. But yeah, you know, shit happens. I'm just trying to get through it. Capturing moments where I can with some peace. Alcohol is great. It's my friend. But I just wanted to say hi because I really missed you guys.
Hi.
When are you back on? Well, back in the UK.
I'll be back in the UK next week, so I'll be on the show next week.
Yay.
But yeah, I literally just wanted to pop in. I was watching you on Insta, and I was like, yes, Auntie Sade, no ghetto nonsense. I'm not about, I don't want a man to come to me that I need to make. You need to be ready, full grown and made.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for partnerships, but I don't want to baby you. I don't want to feel like I'm your mum. Like, those days are done. I'm not 20 anymore. That's all long.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like that was a resume. So if there's any guys out there, like
it was a resume. It wasn't.
It really wasn't. Like I swear, Auntie Sade said as well that she. Nah, but like Auntie Sade said, I'm not like on the hunt. But at the same time, I'm like, what will be, will be. But I'm not on. It's not like I'm. Where are you, man? I don't feel like that. I've got other shit to deal with at the moment.
Yeah,
I do think that women in our age group as well, we're really, like, unfortunately painted with this desperation brush. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, and I think like they're like, sometimes when men approach, they think, oh, you're so, you'll put up with anything because of course you have to be so desperate to want anything at this age. And it's just like, no, like not at all, man. Like
something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
What was that? Was that Auntie Nana again?
But yeah, I think
you're right.
Yeah, I just think it's a lot. I think it's you have to navigate so much, and I'd rather not. I'd rather just miss me with the bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Play with those young girls if that's what you want to do. Like I'm not here for it at all. Not that you can actually abuse any girl.
Yeah,
no, not at all. But it's like, it is definitely a misconception that when you get to 40, you'll put up with anything because you don't want to be alone. But I think, and then also, sometimes the excuse is used of that you're too independent. You don't need anybody and all that shit. And it's like, no, I'm quite happy to have a partner, but I don't want to have a baby, and I also don't want to have a boss.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Just to get
someone piece of advice.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say someone on IG just wanted to say something. I think I don't know how you say your handle. It's M1VHA. Says, morbid but true. I was with my husband for 30 years and he died of a sudden heart attack. Like 50, I'm once again alone. So sorry for that. Sorry for your loss and pain, but these are the realities that we deal with also being in a relationship.
I hear.
There is that. Like I can safely say that my gran was with my granddad for like over 50 years, and my granddad passed 14 years ago. My gran was never ever the same. Like, she came here and she tried to build a life for herself, and she did in some respects, but she just wasn't the same. She just was never the same. Like, the spark had gone from her, a Cody, a partner in crime. That person had gone. So that's also very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I was going to say, by the way, on socials, Auntie Farah, they can't see you. They're saying it's a black box. I don't know what's happening there.
It wouldn't work because of where she is, but you can't change that with
you can't see me because Grenadians don't want you to see me. That ties in with my comment.
If you're on Facebook, you will be able to see the lovely Auntie.
Or YouTube. We're streaming live on YouTube as well, and you can see all of us. The other piece of advice was women need to start shooting their shot more.
You know what? That I agree with, because I have always been unable, unless I'm like, this is gonna sound funny. You see, like when I'm on holiday, like, this is not a holiday, FYI, but when I'm on holiday, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm a little bit more confident. I've got a little bit more, I'm not tied down by, day-to-day nonsense. So I feel like I'm fun time Farah on holiday. So those are the times where I'm like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. If I like you, I'm gonna shoot my shot. But
I get that. I think there's something about There's something about being in like out of the constraints of the West and maybe feeling like you know people in town. Fun time far and adventurous AK. I think that,
Ain't it though? For real.
But it is that I think shooting. It's so funny because the time that I shot my shoot, whatever, shot my shot.
Yeah.
The time
shots were fired. Times when shots were fired. Oh my god, I'm gonna be so crass. My club was shut up. Your what? Your what shut up?
My club.
I don't know why you what was
it was such a crass term. Because we were saying shot, it made me think of that crass term. Basically, I approached my daughter's dad is basically what I'm saying. So I don't know. I need to when I approach people, it has big consequences.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. I get that bit too, though. No lies told.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't believe in that. I'm not gonna do that. And
yeah, I'll shut it out. Before you even said it, I know you're not about that life.
No.
You're not shooting your shot.
No.
But I'll just shut it. It's like you come to me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go anyway because I started eating, and you don't want to hear me eat.
I'm
gonna go, but I love you all. And my battery's about to die.
Miss you.
See you next week.
Thank you. And I'll just also say as well, that thank you guys for your support. You've been really amazing and really patient and like just understand of the shit that I've been having to deal with. So I love you a lot. I've got a lot of time for you chicks. So yeah. When we get back.
You ain't got no choice to love me, girl.
No, I have got a choice to love you. Like I wasn't really talking to you, to be fair. That was more aimed at Auntie Nana and Auntie Sade. You can do one. All right, chicks. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Hang on.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, that was cute.
There we go. And then, Sade, you can, you're in the right position now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll sort itself out. What did you just say? Something? What was just said? Because I wanted to respond to it and I forgot.
About shooting your shot.
Oh no, yeah, I don't do that.
No, so I was gonna say it's because it's like it's reeks of like, oh please go out with me. It doesn't have to always be like that. It's not necessarily like, no please, and shooting your shot at the wrong time. I think you should. If a woman, I think a woman should know when the mood is right and the setting is right for you to approach a guy. I don't think it should be. I think guys are like, I don't think guys really, really generally want all of us to start being like, yo, what are you saying? I don't think they want that. I don't think they're ready.
No one wants that either.
No one wants that either. I think in a certain settings, I can understand where, you know what, if the guy's like, I'm not really sure, and the woman's like, I'm not really sure, but I'm going to take a chance and be like, hey, shooting a shot, it sounds bigger than what it needs to be. It could just be a hey, and that's shooting your shot, and that's what kickstarts something. It could literally be, you know what, I've been talking. I like this guy. I think he likes me. I definitely had those conversations and just like, so what is it? And it's like, it goes wherever it needs to go, whether it goes that way or that way. And maybe both of us were sitting in that space like, we don't want to offend anyone. That's long. But I just think you get the vibe. I think there's an element of like shooting a shot at someone you know doesn't like you or you know is going to fuck you over. Just don't, because you're just being fast at that point. But I think there's times when you can, when there's a window. Like when I approached my daughter's dad, I don't know. I just was like, what's your number?
I just think, what's it called? Like, it's not like I have in the past. And it has been successful in the past. However, I will no longer do that because that's not the kind of man that I want anyway. Do you know what I mean? If I don't want to, but I would prefer muchly if they approach me, and that kind of shows me that they're confident enough to approach me. Do you know what I mean? And that I don't want confusion either, as well, kind of thing. Because I like to be sure if the guy is into me and it's not just me pushing it on them. I want them to be sure. And then also, I just think like, some people are built for things. I don't like rejection in any kind of form, really. So, some people are built for rejection, some people are not. I'm not one of those people at all.
No, I get that.
So, what about the scenario of I was watching Shits and Gigs this week, and there was a woman who had put in her dilemma. She's very pretty, in her 30s, and she keeps on getting approached by 19 to 21-year-olds. But they just want a fun time. They're literally just being fuckboys, and she wants a relationship. And their advice was more like, because she's very pretty, a young boy is just shooting all the time. It's just numbers for him. So he's in everybody's DMs. He's just going for it. Where an older guy who may be more on her level is thinking, she's so beautiful, there's just bare people in her DMs. I'm not going to add in there. Like, it's just, what's the point? It's not going anywhere. So they was like, actually, if you see somebody that you like, it may be something to just make your presence known to them, like liking pictures, maybe commenting on their stories. So they're a bit like, actually, this girl is kind of interested in me. Like, it's like you're making yourself known to them. What about that type of? So it's not like, oh, I like you, like when I say I'm going to do it for you guys. Not that type of, but you're just liking a lot, commenting, like you're making your presence felt in their world.
I think that's a safe way to do it, but you also have to be careful that you're not just liking picture, and also that's a two-way street as well, because if you're doing that and they're not doing it to yours,
you would feel the vibe, innit? Like you like
always about vibes. Yeah, I think it's always about vibes, because I hear what, because whatever, even what I'm saying about women, it's not a big, it's like you can shoot a shot. I'm not saying I'm gonna be out there doing that, because the ancestors were at hand in me and my daughter's dad. There's other situations, but I generally wouldn't put myself necessarily in that vulnerable light, because also too, I don't want rejection, and I don't want to feel like I'm forcing myself on anyone. I would like to know that the man is into me more than I'm into them, especially because I just don't want no confusion. Definitely think that, but it's about a vibes thing. I think when it's like, you know what, this is a safe vibe where a woman can do either like a picture, make a comment, make yourself known. Whether you're at the club, you're going to stare at a guy, not scarily, but that lingering look, or strike up conversation or laugh. I think women can get a vibe of when it's okay to let a man know you're interested in them.
Yeah.
Without it being a whole, you threw yourself at them, you're kind of being desperate and all that type of stuff, because that's the negativity that comes with shooting your shot when it comes to a woman doing it, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Well, the thing is also as well, like I just think like nowadays you not to say that it's really changed that much, to be honest, but having a truthful answer if a man is single is very hard. You know what I mean? So then if you're shooting your shot as a woman in this heterosexual world, like, do you know what I mean? And that's and they've got a partner, then it kind of puts you in a really weird position. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I don't like that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because you just don't know. Especially on social, a lot of men present as single on social, and they are not single.
Yeah.
So
they use the excuse of business.
So
and then I have friends and they'll even say it. It's business.
It's the perfect excuse, right? It's the perfect excuse. She came to me, babes. Look at her. She's messaging me. She's liking my thingy. And then they're like, oh, the victim almost. Nah.
I think there needs to be a big. I can't stand, because I think what annoys me in both, like some people on both episodes, and it's what people do. Are you in a relationship? It's complicated. I fucking can't stand. I can't stand when people on their status. When Facebook was a thing and everyone was like,
it's complicated.
Shut. It's so self-important. No one. How I remember. There was a guy. I remember a guy being vexed with me because. I remember he was like, "You're talking my business." I'm like, it's just a relationship. I'm asking, like, I think maybe, I don't know who fancied him. The conversation was about whether he was single or not. And I think whether I was speculating, we were speculating, just having a typical girl chat. Is he single? Is he not? I heard you're talking about me. You're talking my business. It's a fucking relationship. Are you with someone or not? It's so normal. Humans are built to be in relationships. We are built to fuck. We are built to, I'm saying, like, in society construct is we are built to be in relationships. It is what it is. That's how the society we live in. It is not strange if you are with someone. It is not strange if you're having sex with someone. Why do we make so much drama? It's complicated. You can't even talk
it might be complicated.
No, but what? People create the complication. Shut up. Yes, I'm seeing someone. No, I'm not. I got bare gal. I got bare man. Or I don't want to talk about it. You don't have to create this super.
Okay. I think I used to have It's Complicated on my face.
Oh my god!
No.
I don't really think now, but I definitely.
When you're young, it's like it's a little bit like it's complicated. It's not.
My head.
No.
Oh my god, it's pissed. That pissed
There
me off
was
so
a
much.
lot of that though. But you know, one of the girls did actually say, she did explain it. She was like, if I say on camera I'm in a relationship, what about if next month I'm no longer in a relationship?
And you're not.
But I did get her hesitation to be like, to say it.
But I get
because
that.
Sometimes it's that fast, isn't it? You're there like, I'm in a relationship, and it could be the next week you're not, and then it's living on YouTube on big BET. So I got her kind of hesitation.
Yeah, but are you in a relationship though? Then
no, well, it's not solid. You may be, but it may not be solid if you're scared to say it.
Yeah, then you're in a relationship. There's different ways to say it. Like you're dating someone. Do you know what I mean? Or you're seeing someone, or you're talking to someone. Like, you know, it's just actually there was that clip of that girl that was saying that she just had another talking stage and she got really upset about it. And she was, you know, she's saying that she's like in her 30s and like she wants to have a kid sometime soon, and she was just really upset about the whole like her not finding someone. Do you know what I mean? Which was interesting. And she's an American girl. I don't know. I just thought you've got options though. Do you know what I mean? Like I think we're kind of in a funny stage where I think relationships and how relationships show up are being redefined. I think like the long term, which actually has been for a while, is not like necessarily the ideal as much anymore. Do you know what I mean? I think it was like really like, because the average person isn't in a long-term relationship, right? Do you know what I mean? And they haven't been.
The average is still in a long-term relationship.
No, I think that in relationships, but the trend is you're with someone for about 5 to 7 years, and then you break up, and then you're with someone else 5 to 7 years. So that's the trend, rather than you're with someone for life, and that's it. You know what I mean? So like, I think that is the trend. So I think it's probably more going to that, but I think that 5 to 7 might be even cutting down to maybe 2 to 3. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just like people are having very intense, short, like long-ish, mid relationships, and going from relationship to relationship, in that kind of sense. But I read it somewhere as well, kind of thing. But like, I think like it's just so the conventional way of having like, you know, that 2.4 relationship scenario where you have the kids and stuff and everything like that, I just think like you need to look at other options. And I think you're right, Auntie Nana, that you said last week, like, I really wish that, you know, all my younger friends, like, I'm just like, if you're not ready to have kids now, you need to freeze your eggs. That's what you need to do. Like you need to look into that, get your options sorted. Do you know what I mean? Because you might not have it figured out all now, and there might be other things, like career, whatever kind of thing, or just, you know, just living life, you know. And if you want to have a family and that's something that's in your mind, then you need to give yourself opportunities in order to do that.
I think I think I wonder if I'd love to clear the slate and start again and just see what we would do without any kind of, with a fresh slate, what humans would do, how we would behave without any kind of rule of society or imposition, and just see what we would do naturally. Because, you know, you've got the hoteps that believe we all had, you know, man had bare women, but yet somehow it wasn't the other way around. And then there's this whole thing of adapting to this. It's like now everyone thinks that humans have a short attention span because we've been programmed, because of social media and stuff, to have a short attention span. We're adapting to the situation, but do we want the situation? I'd love to understand that. With relationships becoming shorter, is it because we want it, or is it because we're giving up to the fact that it's not going to last, so we have to adapt? So I just wonder which way is it, nature versus nurture type thing. But another thing that came up in the documentary that in the web series was when one of the girls or the guys said that women and men are starting to try and figure each other out, which I thought was quite hopeful. I can't remember which one. I can't remember which group.
Yeah, it was quite. That guy was generally very optimistic.
Okay.
So she said, like, in their experience, in their world, they felt, one of them said it, and I can't remember if it was a woman or a guy, said that what they're noticing in their world is that women and men are actually trying to understand each other rather being having this whole black women. I think it was black women and black men, do they not understand each other, that type of thing. And she, in response to that, was like, actually, both, and probably leaning towards the men are doing the work now to actually understand what women want.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I mean, women have been doing that for time immemorial.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like women are doing that.
I just think it was a guy that said it, and he was very optimistic about relationships and him finding his like partner and everything. He just had a very nice outlook, and he was like, in his circle, there's been way more conversation as to like relieving their toxicity and actually thinking, how can we create a holistic family? Like, how can we get there so that it's not that hard and you're not meeting somebody who you're incompatible with? Like, what are the steps? And he was interesting. I hope he's in it more to talk a bit more, because, you know, he's young, but he had his head on his shoulders. I actually think there was a good mix. There was a toxic guy, but there was a good mix of vibes in there. Like, it's a good program.
And it's interesting.
This is why older women need to date younger. This is why.
I mean, I was watching it and I was like, we could have been on that couch. Like, you know, they could have injected a little bit of a age range in there, not too far out. Like, you know, we're not far from them, but
no, it is like, because it's looking at the future's bleak. But I think I do agree with, I can't remember what you said, Auntie Shad, did you say that dating younger? I understand that mindset, because you've got a whole generation of broken folks. So if you're looking at someone that's, you know, the new generation that's working on themselves and having a lot more empathy and understanding into what it is to be, especially for women, having a lot more, because, you know, the newer generations of men aren't the alpha male, that one way thinking. They're a lot more fluid in their thinking. So with that,
but you're saying that for younger guys?
I'm saying that there's more information, there's less
younger men are
less bound to the restrictions that our generation of guys have grown up and been around and have been broken by, basically. I'm not saying, because I don't feel the need to go too young, because I do think there's differences there, but I understand where you could possibly get a better experience with a younger person who's a bit more open-minded, has grown up in a world where there's less that kind of real, you know, the boxes, the stereotypes that men are trying to break free from or trying to figure out.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just thinking practically. I'm thinking for most of my friends in the last 5 years that have got married and have met their guys in the last 5 years, they're all older, and it's not they're not in their 40s. Like, it's like they're like 5 years older, 5 to 10 years older, that they've settled down with, compared to the younger guys that have come along have generally shown up to be fuckboys.
I mean, there's that too. I wouldn't discount that. And also, as they say that men mature after women, that would make sense that a guy, after all it's said and done, when they're 50, 60, they finally figured it out, which isn't great for women
like
who are
ready to be like family man type thing. I mean, there's always going to be, well, that's just in my experience.
The rule as well. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule. Auntie Sade's not in it.
Huh?
It's also who you're attracted to, though. I think it's more. I get more of a vibe that you'd be attracted to a younger man than an older man. I think it's your attraction levels and what you're actually looking for. Everyone I'm thinking of, they also have a family, so it's like you're blending your families. It's a different scenario.
Yeah.
So what you're asking stability-wise is very different. Like, you want them to be very stable because you've got kids. So it's like it's easier when they've sorted out their life and then you're just merging. Different.
Okay. Any more questions before we move on?
That was
no, but Don has a question in the Instagram.
Don't you think that? Oh, there's two actually. First of all, he asked for us, Auntie Sade and I, to reveal our checklist for men. And also,
Let me think on that.
Don't you think that in every relationship there's always one partner who has an upper hand? Yes. That's.
It's not constant. It's not constant though.
Yeah,
like, if it's constant, then you're going to be oppressed. It goes in waves.
Yeah, like, it should go in waves.
One person that's on top. What'd you say?
It depends. If you've got the upper hand and you're constant, you'll never be oppressed because you'll be.
Yeah, then you're going to be the oppressor. Well, it will come round to you. That's just karma. But either way, there are people that are like, I like to be dominated. That's cool. If that's what you want. But there probably will be lots of things that you've missed out on because you've been dominated. But generally, a healthy relationship, it goes in waves. You're going up and down.
Yeah.
You want to read Candice's comment?
Where's that?
It's on the chat, on our normal chat.
Okay. Candy says, it seems not all men often only treat women that they feel they're in love with properly. Anyone else along the way gets crumbs. Women, on the other hand, will still treat people with basic dignity, regardless if they're in love with them. Only a man's true love get basic dignity. I don't know. Would you say?
From what I've seen guys. I could potentially agree with that. That if they don't give a fuck about you, and you might not know this, you're not getting the best out of them. But with a woman will generally, and I'm not obviously not all, will generally give a man respect, like the niceness. I've never been like, okay, you're not, because my thing has always been, why am I linking you doing whatever with you, whether it's from relationships or having sex with you, if I can't stand you or don't like you? Whereas I know a lot of guys will just bang a girl, they don't have no respect for them.
Okay.
They will
I hear you.
So my thing is that women, I think I can safely say in the majority, will give a man a nice treatment, will treat a man nicely, where a man will treat a girl shittily until he feels that that's the one he wants to be with. I know you can nice and all that. You can have an interaction.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I've literally fallen out with like some male friends because of how they treat women. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, just because you don't want a relationship with her doesn't mean you should be disrespectful to her. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that's what I don't. This is the thing about dehumanizing. That's a lot of men dehumanize, and women actually. They jump on a bandwagon and they dehumanize the women that are not in relationships, or the women that are not. Do you know what I mean? Maybe just like the fun time, whatever kind of thing. And I actually think it's very wrong, because how can you respect me as a person if you're doing that to other women? There's something wrong there. There's a disconnect, because essentially we could be the same thing, to be honest.
Or your sister, or your that whole thing. Like, how can you disrespect a woman like that? And also, I think I have a problem. I really do have a problem with guys that will judge a woman for being with them because they're treating them like shit. But then, what does that say about you? Like, it's such a bizarre mentality. I know guys who definitely are like, why is she like, she's an idiot, but what does that make you?
Yeah.
And why are you?
And also, sometimes that's what they prefer. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, like, you know, what may seem on the surface is like, oh, you know, they might do the big gestures with the girl that they're in a relationship with and love, but that's not really what they like. It's just because that's like seen, you know, by their peers. It's like, that's what you're supposed to have. But deep down, and then there's the other thing as well that we don't talk about a lot as well. I'm definitely not saying all men, but there's a lot of men that need to come to the realization that they don't like women. Like, do you know what I mean? They're heterosexual, but they don't like women as people. And that's why I go back to my first statement, that and there's a lot of men that are not good people, man. They're not.
But you know what I think that is? I think it's energy matching energy. Because you don't like women, you're going to meet a woman who is going to back that up. It's self-fulfilling prophecy. You're gonna meet the one that's gonna reaffirm why you don't like women. because it's already in there. You're matching energy. It's like there's a self-loathing angle to it. So you're actually finding people who are bad for you. You're bad for them. You co-mingle together and have a bad situation because that's what both of you are expecting to take place. And then you fulfill it and you both can retreat from the relationship. Like, yeah, see, said they weren't shit. And it's like, yeah, because if both people are saying the other isn't shit, who are you going to attract? Shit.
But guys, I think that's different. I think
a lot of women who are trying to have a relationship generally want that to be the case, right? Do you know what I mean? They might have a fear, do you know what I mean? But it's not necessarily what they hope for. Whereas I think a lot of guys go into it knowing that this girl is not going to be my girl.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That I'm just going to do this, and they will do everything they can to mask it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not being upfront about what they want, not being front that there's no future for this relationship. They do everything to mask what they really want, to deceive these girls, and then because they've deceived them, now they think they're idiots. Do you know what I mean? And they lower the respect they have for them even further. And it's just like, that's out of so wrong. Like, it's so wrong.
It's so boring.
It's horrible. It's not just boring. It's horrible. It's horrible to the psyche.
No, it is.
And like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're treating your fellow person like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And then
this is the thing where it goes both, because it's yourself as well. If you're sleeping with somebody that you have disdain for, what does that say about your own body?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you
hate yourself too.
Yeah,
like, you also don't feel like you deserve better.
Yeah.
So you're there doing it, like you're in a cycle of shit. And it is like, actually, you don't have an upper hand in any way, shape, or form. As much as they think they may do, like, I've done her over, all you've done is yourself over, really. You've just abused yourself and being like, I abused you. And it's like, you just abused yourself, because why are you wasting your time and energy on somebody that you actually don't like? You don't like yourself.
And then you're going to make them feel bad about themselves for liking you or falling in love with you.
Because you don't think you deserve it. You think, why would you like me?
Yeah, why would you like me? I'm treating you like shit. These times now you're lying to the person, so you're actually blaming them for not catching out you in a lie, but you're working your hardest to try and lie to them. It's unnecessary, and this is why women are like,
it's actually
it's psychotic. Like, I'm lying to you, I'm judging you because I'm lying to you, and you're not catching me out. And then when you catch me out, you're gonna do the most. No, babe, I'm not. But
that's
then,
right.
That's right. And then she forgives you. She forgives me though. She's an idiot. And then after she's bared her whole,
you don't want me to let you go either.
And then when you finally dash her away, or she moves on, oh God, don't let her dump you, because then she's a bit. Oh my God.
Well, this is the thing.
Then you're going to try and get her pregnant.
You're going to try and get her pregnant.
Then you're going to try and get her pregnant, so she can't ever properly leave you. That's the other little trick that they try and plant in there. It's very, like, it goes round, and then you have another story of, I was trapped and I got a psycho baby mother, and it's all victimhood. It's all so that, oh my God,
you created it yourself, basically.
Yeah, woe is me, woe is me.
And I think what did we say? I think whoever said it, was it me that said it? Stop giving us content. When I was talking to my friend, stop giving us content. When my friend was saying he's sick and tired of women talking about men on podcasts and things like that. But stop, because really and truly, if there was no proof in the pudding, we wouldn't have nothing to say, and we would look crazy. But for every guy you guys all say like he's a good guy, there's about 10 of your mandem that's doing dirty, and none of you are saying nothing to each other. Yeah. You're not, but I mean, it was very refreshing back to this series that there were majority men in relationships, and they actually said they were in relationships and were actually speaking confidently and smiling even about the fact that they're in relationships.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You know,
I don't think any of them kind of scoff. No, one or two was a bit like, I'm in a relationship type of thing. That was a little bit of a wobble. And then they spat it out.
I need to say the wobble for 20. Like, when we get to the end of 22, let's throw out complicated and dodgy wobble. You're in a relationship or you're not. It's okay. You know what humans do? They get together. It happens.
They might be in more than one relationship.
Well, then make it clear.
Maybe that's what they were trying to think. Which one am I in?
Which one?
That was the wobble.
Don't come with a whole dating show on camera that's going to go out to the world and then talk about it's complicated.
I know this guy here that was he had an ex, but he wouldn't tell his ex that he was in a new relationship. It was like the oddest thing. Like, and it was like, but he actually wasn't seeing her. They would talk, but he just wouldn't. He couldn't tell her that he was in a new relationship. It was so weird.
And there was no kids. He just had an ex.
Yeah.
Also, that whole thing of creating this drama. Sometimes, you know what? Let women sit in their shit in it, because sometimes you guys do the most to try and protect us from what you think we're going to go nuts about.
Yes.
So do you know what? Normalize your fuckery. Let us deal with it on face on. Don't try and manage our emotions for us, because you know what? If we go crazy, then don't do what it is that's going to turn us crazy. If you cheat, just let it. Because I remember guys to be like, "No, you women can't handle it when you want." No, give us a chance. If we don't handle it, then that's us. But the more you
but the thing is, but they can't handle it. People can't handle it. It's not a male or female thing, because you're being dishonest, you're betraying. Like, do you know what I mean? These are real horrible things that are happening that people need time to process. It's normal to feel away if someone has done something to you. So stop trying to label like it's just women that feel these things and they're acting irrational. It's not irrational at all. It's a normal reaction to a horrible situation.
It's not irrational to be upset that you lied and pretended you wanted to be with the woman and she found out you were with 20 others. Why should we get upset?
We've been on this for ages, but I really do want us to talk about the Tinder swindler.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Did you watch it?
I did. I did. It was nonsense though, but it was. Yeah, I watched it. Absolute nonsense.
But did you not have? I had real sympathy for the women because of the extreme kind of my enemies are going to get me.
Yeah.
I was really like, I don't know if I could. For one, my credit isn't set up to be able to take out $250,000 on credit cards for some dude. But I would give what I had though, because I believe it. The pictures in it, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to think that you're in trouble and you're my man, and I'm going to try and help you as much as I can. But I'm not remortgaging any houses, none of that stuff. But I did feel for them. Like, I was like, he was good. He was a good
swindler.
He was a good swindler.
I'm gonna say something, and it's not PC at all.
Go on.
But like, I don't know how to say it in a nice way.
I just say it.
Yeah, you
would. Excited.
But like, okay, I wasn't brought up to believe that women should give men money ever. Like, I just wasn't brought up like that at all. So that would be, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I've never given money to a man. Do you know what I mean? I have. Do you know what I mean? But with like crippling, like, oh my God, I'm doing the wrong thing. Do you know what I mean? I shouldn't be doing this. This is wrong. Like, so like, I just wasn't brought up like that. So it would definitely be a red flag. 100%. I did have one guy, I remember one time, he was crazy because he wanted me to give him a deposit for him to buy a house.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
And I just thought, nah, you think I'm a dickhead. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you mad? So I was just like, obviously, I was just like, yeah.
He didn't even try and do the swindling thing. Like, how can you ask somebody?
Do that? Like, and I was just like, you don't know me. Yeah. You have no idea. You have no idea who I am. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna entertain that. Are you crazy? You're mad. Like, I just think, but yeah, guys will try. I do think that some guys will definitely try it, but like, I thought it was warning signs, and also as well, I don't know, like maybe it's just life experience or whatever, but like if you're going on a date with a guy and then the next day he's like, oh, I'm gonna fly you out, like not even the next day, same day he's flying you out, my spider senses would be up immediately, because money doesn't mean you're a good person. Like, that's just, do you know what I mean? It just doesn't. It really doesn't. And I think like a lot of women
And also treating you like that's all you're worth. Because even though the amount that he spends isn't that, it's like he's showing that you will jump because I'm showing cash, and that's all you're like, it's undermining your brain power. When I watched it, I was like, I understand the web that he wove, but I think it was the early doors of everything. It's like, let's move in. It's all very quickly. It wasn't like he didn't play the long game. Now, the long game, a year, 2, maybe I'll be like, and then he starts talking about that. Maybe then that could hoodwink me. But I don't think within the space of 6, but I'd like to think that you couldn't start telling me that, because the minute you're in that kind of deepness, I'd be like, bro,
They took out loans.
They took out that side of things. The money thing it's just not happening because that's not the way I'm set up or built. I'm trying to think about the trouble part. The trouble part.
What, my enemies are after me. Like even sorry, I know this is so bad. I know this is so bad, and like just putting aside like the real life things that happen to these women, but even the phrasing.
Yeah,
my enemies are after me. No, it is it is Nollywood. I cannot. There's no way I would be taking that seriously. Like I just like, and I think I'm like, even when I'm questioning, where I'm just like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm so blessed that I have friends around me that would just be like, no fucking way, Shantae, no way. Like seriously. So even when I would, maybe on the brink of doing something stupid, like I've definitely been pulled back. Like, no way. Could you imagine?
I was trying to empathize with the women. What do you say?
$250,000 in debt.
There's none. Million. But I was really trying to empathize and think, at what point would I be like this? As you said, Auntie Shadow, I don't know a guy that could, but I was thinking about road guys, and I was thinking about the reality of that. And this is being.
What do you mean?
I'm thinking about there's a lane of I was really trying to empathize and think what situation could make me believe that a man say my ops, my enemies, my this, that would make me think at the very least, because the thing I know at that, whatever, like a younger stage of my life, whatever, I don't have $250,000 to help you out. So there's none of that. But what situation, if he was trying to scam me, if it's a guy that, if I know that he's got criminal activities, obviously they didn't know, but I'm trying to think what would convince me. And going out of a road guy, he could set that up. Yeah. And I might believe as much of the story, because then we've heard of scenarios. We know of situations. Well, let me speak for myself. I know of guys that have been in mad situations, who are in mad things. And in my childhood, where if a man was like, man's after me, this is that, this and that, and this and that, I might be like, oh shit, I believe this person.
Yeah,
I would. I
think that's how it would be set up. It literally it's within your worldview.
Yeah,
it is like actually they do have money, and it's believing that they do have money. It's just around the corner, just tucked. They just need to be able to get it. And my couple of thousand gets them closer to getting that money, and I'm going to get my money back. Yeah, it's absolutely believing that it's going to come back to you, and that's what he would play on. So it's. I'll give you a little bit back first. He was doing the long con. I'll give you a little bit back first.
Yeah, it's true.
And then I need a bit more from you. And then more's going to come back to you. And I need a bit more from you because it's just around the corner. It's just around the corner. It's so within human nature to really believe that windfall is just around the corner. He just plays on that. They all look the same. Yeah. Like, where's he finding all of these blonde, like Norwegian, Finnish girls from? Like, they all look the same.
But he played, because you don't know how, because those are the two that came to the documentary. You don't know how many he went through to get to because obviously he's playing on the vulnerability, because they were both, he did best friend with one of them, and he did emotional with the other one, the one that was feeding the money at first. So
the baby mother.
And the baby mother as well. So it's just
girlfriend. The 3 that had already taken him to court in Finland, They were all blonde as well. They just pixelated their faces, but you could see their hair.
Yeah.
But he had a type. So there's obviously something that he's researched in that region. The men that they like.
No, I don't think it's that. I think
maybe like a real look that it's like, oh.
I think that's easy. I think that's like that's like a guy going for all light skin girls, all dark skin girls. And you know what I mean? I don't think in the white world, I don't think that's the thing. It's the sensibility. Because I think a dime a dozen. How many blonde women you could easily find bare blonde women?
It's like it's the mindset, right? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, are they going to be impressed with this? Can I? Do you know what I mean? What can I get? So I think in some of the cases, it was like it wasn't asking for too much in the beginning. Do you know what I mean? It would be like a smaller amount, then a bigger amount, then a bigger amount, then my enemies.
And the danger crept in.
I can't.
Then they're like, I'm gonna save
mortgage. Are you fucking?
Can you imagine somebody saying that to you? Can you remortgage your house?
Seriously. And the thing is, but this is the thing. I just like, because that thing is installed in me, there is no way that I would be I would just be like, I would probably just freeze and just I wouldn't be able to do anything, because I'd be like, no, this is actually too much. But I could probably, I'm not saying I'm above getting caught up in the emotion of like, oh my God, something's happening to him. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think I'd be physically able to, do you know what I mean? I'll be more like, I would like to believe, okay, where's your friend to help you? Where's your brother? Where's your mother? Like, where's, do you know what I mean? Like, let me try and get someone to help you, because I can't. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, and then there is, I guess, this part of me that's just like, gotta save myself. So actually, more crazy. So I need to go away from you. I need to disappear because you've got enemies, babe. I don't. You know what I mean?
I think that's the part that would keep me either get me or get me away, because it's the fear of, if you're playing up enemies, what, murdering, beat up guys. Right. I like my face. I don't like pain. I don't want that. So it's either going to make me disappear, and I'll be probably shitting myself. I'll probably come and stay at one of you lots. Like, he knows where I live. He knows where I live. And then after a while, like, oh, no one's coming. I'm going back to my yard. Yeah, it's all good. That's I would be leaning towards disappearing, locking off, or the fear of that thing would get me to be like, I need to frantically trying to find someone to help, because it's not going to be me and my bank, because I don't have it.
Well, he's apparently saying that it's all lies, and he will be in touch with his version of the story soon. Yeah,
you know, Channel 5 is going to pick that up.
He said he's putting it all together. He's gonna put his side forward.
Listen, this is the audacity of a fraudster, because he's now going to come and do remix story and get more money from other women.
But this, and the thing is, you know what? He'll probably have like a fan club and stuff of people. I'm sure he can put a GoFundMe together and money.
He's got another girl already, so I'm sure there are women like with R. Kelly that were just like, oh, you can abuse me. There are women that will be like, I'll give you money.
Yeah,
like there are folks that will be like, it's cool, like we can run with this.
Oh my gosh, guys, there's an emergency in the comments. Oh my God.
Emergency.
Neodate Evans. Oh my God.
I didn't even notice that.
Read out his ridiculous comment.
Oh my God, guys. Neodate Evans says, please let someone let Auntie Nana know that I'm in trouble and need a couple of thousand or whatever she could spare. Thanks, Uncle Nee, via the kidnappers. Oh my God, guys.
Oh my God.
Unless any of you can lend me some money, all I can spare is a £5. £5. £5 British pounds. What's that? 100 cedis? Like I can give 100 cedis.
Oh,
you're actually implying that the kidnappers are Ghanaian.
That's what I'm saying, isn't it? Yeah, I could do 100 naira.
Uncle, to the kidnappers, please tell Uncle Nee he might as well settle up where he is. It's a wrap.
It's probably better there anyway. It's not that bad. Remember, close your eyes and dream that you're on a beach somewhere.
It's all right. You'll be fine. All right, guys, we must move on. Let's see any comments on the IG. Abinadatrix says, I'm shocked how many people are victim shaming and blaming them. The guys target vulnerable women. She also recommended The Puppet Master. I guess that's maybe on Netflix too, or one of those channels. And many guys are doing fraud bait on Hinge. Stay safe, ladies.
But you've got to, and I think it is, I'm not saying this is just like a phenomenon with men. It's definitely women too as well. But I think like when you're dating, you shouldn't be handing over any sort of amount of money at all. Like really, you know. And the thing is, and just knowing that if you get out alone, you're liable. Like you are responsible. It doesn't matter if someone's like convinced you, whatever. Like it's in your name, and you need to protect that. And never borrow what you can't afford to lose. Like never borrow it out. Do you know what I mean? What you can't afford to lose, that's it. So if you're given a gift, then give it as a gift, and that's that. And it's kind of up to them, or whether they, you know, not up to them, but like you give that, not knowing whether that person is necessarily, you know, gonna be good. I don't even want to say it, but like they might just ghost you. Like you never know. It's so bad. But but you should give it with a loving heart. If you're gonna give something, give it with a loving heart and like leave it at that and have no expectation.
There we go. Let's move on. What's made you sad, mad, and glad, ladies? Auntie Nana's first.
I so had not reflected. Okay, so I guess really all I really have is a glad, because it genuinely like made me super happy, was seeing Kwejo today on the news and all over social media, and I was just really, really proud of him, that just a young person sticking their neck out, because he doesn't have to, his housing situation sorted out, but really being out there for other people. I was truly, truly proud of him. And it's not just because he's like Ghanaian, but that tickles my fancy a little bit more. But I was proud of him, man. Lovely young man.
Auntie Shadow.
I'm pretty sure I have a sad and mad, but I can't remember right now, to be honest. But my glad is, if you go onto our social media page, we may or may not have made a bit of content, and I think it's really funny, and it gave me so much joy. So that has made me glad. So check out our TikTok, or Your Aunties Clever, or our Instagram, Your Aunties Clever as well, and you'll see it there. Yes,
that made me glad too. So I, unlike the other aunties, have done my homework. So what made me sad this week is I actually finally watched And Just Like That, the Sex and the City.
Okay. Don't spoil the ending, please.
I'll try and do this without spoilers. I'm going to do this without spoilers. It made me super sad, because the first 2 episodes I wasn't expecting what happened to happen, and on that it made me think about a lost female friendship that I had, because Sex and the City was a particular group of friends that it was us, and it was our show, and it's such a significant time in my life, and it made me think of the person that we no longer speak to, and it made me sad and mad. I was really angry at the loss, because I was like, you threw it all away because of blah 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 blah. But it made me really sad, and I enjoyed it. I actually fully enjoyed it, the series. I'm fully I think it was a really good series, and it made sense, and everything was good, even the cliche funny bits, it was all good. But it made me sad, because it made me remember a time that was really good and then became bad. Mad at housing people, because of the Kojo 24-hour story. I'm just like, I really fucking hate housing associations, councils, and the shit that they get away with, and how the way they let people, just because you're in government housing or assisted living, whatever the case, you let them live in squalor and deprivation just because. I hate it. It makes me mad. And I am also glad about Kojo sticking his neck out for people. It's beyond. Also glad today was the Oscar nominations. It's award season, if you guys don't know. So lots of organizations are releasing their nominations. Today, Will Smith gets an Oscar nomination for playing Richard Williams in King Richard. It was a brilliant film.
Brilliant.
He got the Best Actor nomination alongside Denzel Washington. He got Best Actor nomination for his role in Macbeth.
Serious?
Yeah, man. Anjanou played Oracene Williams in King Richard, got a Best Supporting Actress nomination, which is I want her to win that. She needs to get that. She's going up against Adriana, the woman who's in West Side Story, who though I don't know if we'll ever get a chance to talk about it, West Side Story is so problematic. There's a remake.
I didn't watch it because
Steven Spielberg's done a remake of the 60s film.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but why? In this modern age, why? It's still problematic. However, supporting actress Ariana Bose, I think her name is, phenomenal. Scene stealing. So she also got a nomination, but I want Ingenue to win. However, who else? Summer of Soul, fantastic, wonderful, brilliant documentary. About, it's one of the best. Questlove directed it, produced it. That's been nominated for Best Documentary, and another documentary called Attica, which I haven't watched, but it's by Black producers and directors. So that's also been nominated for Best Documentary. What was a little bit disappointing was that Harder They Fall got nothing. And though it's not necessarily an Oscar film, I definitely thought original song, they'd get original song.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It's been quite snubbed, actually. BAFTA has recognized James for outstanding debut by British writer, director, or producer at the BAFTA nominations. And even more importantly, bun all the mainstream, recognized awards. The NAACP film have given Harder They Fall 12 nominations, so it's not getting ignored. But when we talk about the mainstream dominating awards, that's where it's a bit lacking.
How can they ignore it? It's just so good,
mate. And also, I forgot to mention, how dare I? Beyonce is nominated for Best Original Song.
Oh yes,
tune for King Richard as well. So King Richard, I think King Richard's got like 6 nominations, so it's got to win. I need it to win some major ones. But yeah, so I was really happy about that. I went to a little soiree that the Academy put on in the UK, in London, to watch the nominations, and I'm very proud of myself because I only had 1 helping of a little fish and chips thing. I normally would have had 2 or 3, and I only had 1.
Sorry.
That's it.
Okay, can I just say, so like my mad actually is Joe Rogan and this whole Spotify. India Irie came out with like a video where she was saying that, she kind of gets the whole COVID thing, but actually the reasons why she is pulling her stuff from her songs from Spotify is because they are supporting Joe Rogan, who, has repeatedly used the N-word. He's a white male, has about 16 million followers, and he's used the N-word when talking about certain situations. He also, as well, he has apologized for that. And Spotify have said they're still sticking with him, as far as I know. Mm-hmm. And he also talked about going to a film and go and see Planet of the Apes, and he compared the black area that he was dropped off into to actual Planet of the Apes. And he, when he was explaining that story, he did go on to say, that's a bit racist and stuff. But, no, Joe, no, this is unacceptable, actually. Like, it's just, I'm surprised he still has his platform right now. Do you know what I mean? We'll see how it's going to kind of filter out. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he is pulled support from him as well, because he wasn't aware of the deepness of the situation. And I just think it's just a bit, I don't listen to Joe Rogan, to be honest. He just doesn't seem like he'll be my cup of tea or anything like that. But it is people you have these massive platforms should not be allowed to say these types of things at all. So, it's just bullshit, basically. Yeah. You're on mute.
Let's up the zero tolerance on racism towards Black people.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely why he's still on there. Although I do listen to Joe Rogan, I do have lots of other things to that, but it would be long-winded. He was wrong, but there's a conversation within it anyway.
Let's have it next week.
The reason why he's there is because it was Black people. If it was trans or Jewish, he'd be off straight away.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of episodes. Spotify removed 70.
Yeah.
With dubious types of language within it. So.
Mm-hmm. And it's just it's not to say, the thing is, what I have a problem with is not people apologizing for their behavior, but it's actually it's not, you're not really admitting what you're doing. Yeah. So you're saying, I wasn't racist when you were being racist. Do you know what I mean? So you're making an apology for offending people of what they think that
putting
you've done.
Putting it on the person to that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's just like you're not. It's not even across the board. It's almost like, I'm sorry if you felt offended, which is always a shit apology. Do you know what I mean?
It's not even an apology. It's not how you apologize for anything
at all. So like, I just think like, no, it's unacceptable, and he should go. And it's just, I hope that they're just dragging their feet. And you know, Spotify put into 100 million into him, and you know, we'll see if they get the return on investment.
What Spotify needs to do is put 100 million into the Aunties, so we ain't racist.
They do.
Yeah, you get me. Let's get the last comment.
Okay, so Candice has said, my mad is Andrew Young saying Rogan isn't racist because he has black people around him. Like, what the beep?
Okay, let's. Have we got any kind of
like? Do we even like?
No, because we'll get into it, and we don't have the time. We'll get into it.
Okay, next week.
Let's pick up next week. Okay, do you have a hit list? Is Joe Rogan on our hit list? Is Spotify on our hit list? Who's on your hit list?
You know what? You know who's on my hit list? Whoopi Goldberg, man.
Oh my god.
Yes. She's on my. This is my unpopular opinion. She's on my hit list because I am offended by what she said. I think that she was right to be suspended, 100%. That you cannot tell a group of people how they identify. If they choose to identify a race as a race, then you shouldn't tell them otherwise. And I think she was playing semantics, actually. Do you know what I mean? I think she knew exactly what she was doing and saying, and I think it was irresponsible, and she shouldn't be stoking things like that at all. I really am not impressed with her and this. I think Whoopi thinks that she can get away with saying anything and anything that she wants to. And no, you can't say that, you know, that whole situation wasn't about race when it clearly was. And you can't tell a group how they should identify either.
And on that note, because there's so much note, we have.
You just said two things that I'm like itching.
I want to go to bed. I need to go. Right. Thank you. That was Your Aunties Could Never. Thank you for watching and listening. Please follow us on all the social media platforms. Watch us back on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to our episodes on most popular listening platforms. Don't forget to write your reviews on Apple Podcasts and like us on Spotify. Help us become rich aunties so we can best give you all the auntiness that you need. All the auntiness that you deserve. Thank you so much, guys. This is Your Aunties Could Never. I'm Auntie AK. I want you guys to pick it up. I'm
Auntie Nana.
Because we're in your head. I'm Auntie Sade.
And we are saying bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.